Hello. Testing. All right. Let's see. All right, mic's on. Time for Time Force. Hello, Wolfpack. We're back with another surprise streaming tier list. And this time we're doing my other favorite Power Ranger series, aka one of the fan favorite ones, Time Force. Yeah, this is actually not a tier list made by me, it's actually all the monsters, but I very easily put in all the Time Force cast into this list. Alright, making sure the mic works. Okay, good, I didn't blow it out. Alright, yeah, as you can see, it's mostly a monster tier list, but I easily inserted all the Time Force cast on this list. All the Rangers and the prominent side characters. Time for Power Rangers time. Yep, time for Time Force. Really like it. I didn't really like the Power Rangers Samurai and Super Samurai series. That's okay, Nathaniel, I never even watched those series. It's Wolfen time. Yo, Cat. Hey, Emily, I'm glad you're awake. My first of your live streams. Oh, welcome, Toon Lover TV. Yeah, I've been doing a lot more streamings because I'm kind of waiting for some partners to respond to me on collab videos I'm really doing. Unfortunately, the collab videos take time, so because I don't want any, empty content or quiet around here, I do these streaming tiers, and they've been a great way to knock off some rankings I've been wanting to do for a long time. Did a lot of Are You Afraid of the Dark and Goosebumps ones, because people have been begging to see those. By the way, new Goosebumps video on our Patreon. It is available now. I sent a post in the community tab, so check it out. It's a surprise entry for Goosebumps. Yeah, Time Force is definitely top 5 for me when it comes to Power Rangers. Fully agreed. Time Force is one of the best Power Ranger shows ever. I will agree it is better than Lightspeed Rescue, but Lightspeed Rescue has a very close spot in my heart. I really like that show, and I do like Time Force too. Time Force is peak Power Rangers. This is one of the greatest Power Ranger shows ever, of all time. It is the sacred cow. People love Time Force. It is like the perfect 10 out of 10 series. Although short-lived and part of the Fox Kids era, it is definitely when Power Rangers got its groove back in full Time Force. Absolutely love it. There's shockingly some mature themes, great characters, solid writing, really epic twists, iconic monsters as you can see here, and some of the best character developments of all of Power Rangers, including a few of the most iconic Rangers in PR history are on here. Jen and Wes and Eric are definitely high names for us Power Ranger fans. I did have a Power Rangers PS2 game called Power Rangers Dino Force. I think that's what it was called. Yeah, Dino Thunder, Dino Force. Power Rangers has had a ton of video games. Even Lightspeed Rescue had a handheld game. So, Time Force is an epic show. If you don't know, Time Force is about Rangers from the future who travel back to our present, aka 2001, where they're trying to catch a time-traveling villain named Ranzik, who escaped with a bunch of mutant prisoners, trying to conquer the past so he can rule in the future. This Ranzik is the main villain. He basically time-traveled with a bunch of prisoners from a mega complex, basically. All these prisoners, these mutants, were shunned by society, rejected, locked in jail. Ranzik takes them all and runs away to the past to basically conquer it in the past, so in the future he's absolute immortal ruler, ruling in the year 3000, and he's doing this to fight humanity at its weakest, aka the present day, and he unleashes all these mutants and robots to fight the Power Rangers. The Power Rangers, at least 4 out of 5 of them, are time cops. They're professional police officers who were trying to detain Ranzik and have him sent to prison. They failed, and the Pink Ranger Jen loses her fiance Alex. Spoilers, he's not actually dead. She loses her fiance Alex and vows to avenge his death and arrest Ranzik, where they follow Ranzik back in time. And basically, the blue, green, yellow, and pink ranger are all from the future. They're from the year 3000. They go back to 2001 to arrest Randzik and foil his schemes. However, they need a new red ranger. In comes our red Wes, who is a complete newbie rookie red ranger. Wes is Alex's ancestor, like his great-great-great-grandfather times 1,000 or something. Yeah, but you get the idea. He's basically the only one with DNA because the morphers require DNA code access to transform into a Power Ranger. They need Alex's relative, where they give it to Wes, and Wes slowly becomes the Red Ranger they need, the great hero, and the character we relate with the most, and he has a romance with the Pink Ranger, because he's so much like her dead fiance, to the point where they have the same actor. Yeah, you get the idea. And basically, that's the story of Time Rangers. The Red Ranger basically shapes his future and befriends these people from the future, and they form a powerful friendship which touched all our hearts and led to some great character development as they combat Randzik and his mutants. And some of the best episodes of Power Rangers ever are in this show, and it is an epic classic. I really love it, love all the characters, and we're gonna be ranking them all on this tier list today like we did with Lightspeed Rescue. Alright, got my 500 waters here to stay hydrated. Okay, so as you can see, we got pretty much all the important characters, the Rangers, and the iconic monsters of the weeks and main villains. Gonna be ranking them all from best to worst. Now, if you've never heard of a tier list, I'll go over it for you if you're a newbie here. So, up top, the A pluses, the S tier, we have Master of Destiny. These are the perfect characters, the 10 out of 10s, the iconic Power Rangers who made history. Then we have Lucas Cool. Lucas is the Cool Ranger, so yeah, these are definitely good guys. They're good, they have their great moments, they stand out, they're definitely fun characters, but didn't have that extra oomph to make it to Power Rangers history great. Then, in the middle, we have Beta Test. These are okay, they're the mid, had good moments, had bad moments, basically kind of a balanced out there. They didn't make it high enough to be up there in top dogs, but they're also not bad enough to be anything lower. These are alright. Then we have Cyclonaut. These are weak, they're lame ducks. They're characters who did have potential, but didn't quite make it. They're forgettable, and we'll probably be seeing a lot of the generic monsters of the week in this slot, but yeah, you get the idea. These are not the top dogs. Then, down here in the bad, we have Your Time Is Up. These are F, the failures, the bad ones, the characters you forgot or just plain sucked on this show. Might not see too many down here, but hey, you'll never know. So yeah, you get the idea. Gonna be ranking them all from best to worst, and we got a few characters here. Many of them are the one-shot villains, so those will probably be easy, but I know you want to talk about the good characters, the Rangers. So, let's finally start this list with the one you all want to see, the Red Ranger. Yeah, I know Jen is great too, but we'll start with the main protagonist, Wes. The new rookie Red Ranger, Wes Collins, the Red Ranger of 2001, going into Master of Destiny. Yeah, Wes is one of the most well-defined, greatly developed characters of Power Rangers, especially in this show. Wes is basically a sheltered rich kid who doesn't know what he wants his future to be. His dad is a total douche, deciding all the big life decisions for him, basically trying to force Wes to follow into his footsteps, but Wes is a free spirit. He's a good guy who does the right thing. He wants to find himself, find his identity. Time Force was one of my favorite Power Rangers seasons, as this took place in 2001 anime night. 2001. I know this because they say it in the pilot. So, Wes is basically a sheltered rich kid. He doesn't get along with his dad. He doesn't get along well with his former best friend, Eric. Basically, he's kind of a lonely rich kid. He doesn't want to be a big CEO and be forced into obeying his dad. He wants to find himself, make his own future. And of course, that's when he crosses path with the Time Rangers. The Time Rangers need Wes because he's Alex, the former future Red Ranger's distant ancestor, and the Power Ranger morphers require a DNA access. The the morphers are encoded to whoever puts them on and wears them, and because he's related to Alex, it means his DNA is compatible with the morpher, where he becomes the Red Ranger. They recruit him, they needed him to access the morphing ability. However, it's very clear that Jen and Lucas do not like Wes, and Wes spends the majority of the series becoming their best friend and earning their respect, showing that he is a capable teammate and eventually the great leader they need. Wes is awesome, love his character arc, love how he can be a bit snarky and humorous, but also knows when things get serious and gets the job done. Yep. I remember how in SBD it was assumed that Wes was Sky's father due to the same Ranger suit, only for it to be debunked as it was a recycled suit. Okay. I heard they also believed one of the Rangers was the daughter of the Ox Wild Force Ranger because their last names were Delgado. But yeah, there's a lot of fan theories that some characters are related to others. Even Lightspeed Rescue kind of did that. Anyways, really like Wes. He had fantastic character development. Basically, he is kind of an immature kid, doesn't take anything seriously. He is a free spirit, but does get serious when it demands it. Realizes that being a ranger is a responsibility. Starts standing up to his douchey dad, making his own life decisions, deciding his own future. Wes wants to be a hero. He enjoys helping people. He befriends the Time Rangers. They help him come out of his shell, help him find out who he is. He becomes basically the ultimate hero that we need and becomes one of the best Red Rangers we've ever had. Yeah, almost as good as Carter Grayson, but not as badass as Carter. He is a newbie for at least half the series. He has this very cutesy romance with Jen, the Pink Ranger. They basically start out as two characters who hate each other, but slowly learn to love each other. Jen sees there's more to Wes than meets the eye, and Wes starts to respect Jen after she gains his trust. And Wes ultimately has a lot of badass moments. He's trying to befriend Eric even when Eric doesn't want anything to do with him, fighting battles he can't win, and ultimately what sealed him as S tier is the finale, where he sends the Time Rangers back to the future so they won't die. The Rangers are destined to die fighting Ranzik, but he tries to alter history by sending the Time Rangers back to the future, where he makes his last stand. He and Eric get the most badass moments where they finally become best friends, kick ass, and Wes decides to go down fighting like an armada of Cyclobots swarming the city, and pretty badass, pretty emotional scene, and him standing up, deciding screw destiny, he's not gonna let some vague future decide life for him. He's going to shape his own destiny. That is pretty much an inspirational Red Ranger, and why I think he is a legit master of destiny. Favorite Wes line? Let's send a search party. We've gotta find those pizzas. Yeah, Wes is also pretty funny. He is a much more laid-back Red Ranger than most, particularly more laid-back than Carter and the SPD Red Ranger, the Games Master. Time Force was the first Power Ranger show I watched. The first one I watched was actually on VHS tape. I first watched Power Rangers in Space, the Psycho Rangers arc. Really loved that, and that got me into Power Rangers. However, by that time, In Space was not on TV at the time. So the one I first saw on TV was Lightspeed Rescue. When one of the hottest Pink Rangers, but not as hot as Kimberly. You want Jen. Okay. Hey, Glitchy. Alright, so yeah, you get the idea. Wes, Ultimate Red Ranger, Master of Destiny. Alright, so I guess we should talk about the other character people want to hear. Jen. Jen the Pink Ranger. Jen also going on to Master of Destiny. Jen is not only one of the best characters on Time Force, she is considered by many one of the best Pink Rangers of all time. And yeah, I fully agree. It is not hard to see why that is. Jen is one of the best characters on the show. She is fully developed, very interesting, very layered as a character, and ultimately kind of the leader of the show. In this show, the Pink Ranger is more or less the leader and the guide for the other Time Force Rangers. The Pink Ranger calls the shots. She gets the main character slot. She's the one who actually gets the deeper romance side for her relationship with Wes, and Yeah, I really like Jen. It helps that she's also pretty hot. Jen is like this kick-ass, badass, sexy, serious cop. She's kind of the Urza Scarlet of Power Rangers. She's tough and serious, but she puts on kind of a front. She's really a softie deep down, and Jen's arc is basically she loosens up, she gets laid back, lets her hair down, slowly befriends the Rangers, and treats them more like friends rather than her colleagues. Jen, the ultimate badass Pink Ranger. Fully agree, Ira, fully agree. I heard VHS tapes were $20 back then. Some were 15. Hey, Kat, will you be showing your top 10 best SpongeBob episodes? Thought about doing that. However, there's just so many to talk about, and even with the early seasons of SpongeBob, there was like well over 100 good episodes. I was upset that we never got to see Jen and Wes kiss at the end, but instead they just hugged. Yeah, that pissed a lot of people off. Jen is also awesome, up there with Kimberly as one of my favorite Pink Rangers. Also love her development and bonding with Wes throughout the series. Yeah, that is what makes Jen good. This Pink Ranger had a lot of deep character development. Basically, her fiance, the original Red Ranger, Alex, was killed by Ransik. Spoilers, he got better, somehow. Yeah, Alex gets killed, and she vows to avenge his death, and she's kind of a widow recovering from Alex's death until they time travel into 2001, where she meets Wes, and Wes becomes like her second love. He helps her come out of her shell, helps her open up. Basically, Jen is kind of a bitch at the start, but becomes a defrosting ice queen, and has a warm, soft center deep down, where Jen becomes a true friend and really the team mom to the Power Rangers. Wes helps her open up, helps her basically find herself, help find closure, help her confront her past, help her overcome the loss of Alex and everything that's happened in her life, her war with Ransik. The Pink Ranger is more or less the real archenemy to the main villain of the show. She has it out for Ransik. We see a lot of episodes with Jen where her partner, who's an evil mutant, comes back. She faces a lot of trouble, gets mind controlled a lot, has relationship drama with Wes. Easily one of my favorite episodes is where Wes and Jen go undercover as a nerd couple to infiltrate Frax's gym, and Jen has a really jealous side. She is kind of petty. We do see she gets jealous easily. Jen does have emotions deep down despite her tough girl front. Fairy Tail tier list. Trying to get Wolf to do that with me. Maybe someday. In Time Force times Wild Force crossover, Jen becomes Sarah Connor. Yeah, she did, and she got a hot leather outfit. Hey, Kat, will you be reviewing any non-Goosebumps adjacent media more often? You're gonna run out of it eventually. Yeah, I know that. I'm kind of just doing what I want to do. I gotta go. I'm gonna watch one of your older ranking live streams. Okay, see you, Toon Lover. Warning, I do take bathroom breaks in those because they are live. Anyways, Jen, one of the best Pink Rangers ever, and ultimately this comes to a head near the final 10 episodes. Alex comes back, he's alive, and Jen is kind of in a love triangle torn between two lovers, but ultimately she decides she loves Wes. Her feelings lie with Wes, and Alex is completely changed, and she herself is also kind of changed. They grew apart from each other, and ultimately she leaves Alex for his great-great-granddad, Wes, which is really kind of funny to think about. Yeah, basically, she leaves him for Wes and decides she loves the Red Ranger, Wes, and goes back to 2001 and helps in the final stand, and Jen helps destroy the entire Cyclobot armada, and even when she's beaten down by Ransik, still is badass enough to challenge him and lure him away from the fight, and yeah, Jen ultimately wins, arresting Ransik, and in the finale, when they're saying their tearful goodbye, it pissed a lot of people off, but she and Wes do not kiss, and yeah, I totally understand that. That was kind of a middle finger. It's like, what? Why? Why can't they kiss? Oh, because it's a kid's show and kids don't want to see that. Yeah, it doesn't stop a lot of modern day writers from forcing gay kisses, which no kid wants to see either. But yeah, basically Jen and Wes do not kiss. They hug, and it's kind of an emotional goodbye, which I kind of understand a bit because you're not gonna see this person ever again as far as we know. Jen and Wes have to go their separate ways to basically restore time to normal, or at least as normal as they can get. She has to return to the year 3000. Wes has to stay in his own time period, but they both mold each other into better people, giving us the best Red and Pink Ranger ever. And Jen, I'm putting in Master of Destiny because she definitely made history as one of the greatest Pinks of all time. Well, to be fair, a lot of Power Rangers couples don't get to kiss. Yeah, I know that, and that still upsets me. Yeah, why can't we see more Power Rangers kiss? It's like, we know they're in love and the fan base ships them. I guess the excuse is, well, kids don't care about romance, but then why even have it? Maybe Kat should review Erie, Indiana, and its spinoff Erie, Indiana, The Other Dimension. Have not watched it. Don't really have much interest in checking it out because it is a cast story arc driven show. There's an episode where people explode from drinking coffee. It sounds funny. Yep, they never kissed. There's a time traveling milk truck. Yeah, you mean the weird Megazords. Kissing is fine on family shows. Well, apparently not on Power Rangers because they count those as kids only. And the final episode involves the fourth wall demolished that rivals Duck Amuck. To be fair, we do see Wes and Jen actually confirm they're in love with each other in the Wild Force crossover. Wild Force, I'm currently watching right now, have a more mixed feelings on it. There are some good moments, of course, some iconic scenes, but also kind of some letdowns and real meh duds here and there. The Time Force crossover pretty much confirms that Jen and Wes are indeed in love and become a couple, and we get to see Jen rock a hot leather outfit. So yeah, definitely an S-tier woman in my book. We'll put Jen in Master of Destiny. Alright, so we do have to talk about the villains. So let's start with the ultimate villain you all know, love, and love to hate, Ranzik. Ranzik, the leader of the mutants and Power Rangers equivalent to Magneto, going on to Master of Destiny. This guy is pretty much the head honcho of this series. Ranzik is an evil mutant warlord from the year 3000. He tried to destroy human society because humans rejected him for being different. Ranzik is a mutant. He's a part of, like, a second-class citizens who are looked down upon by normal humans and discouraged by the government. Basically, Ranzik is a mutant monster. He needs to take this special serum to basically live and control his mutation because it was heavily altered in a turf war fight with a rival mutant named Venomark. Ranzik is played by Vernon Wells, who brings his Mad Max A-game to the role, and honestly does a pretty good job. Ranzik is the ultimate villain. He basically escapes from the future, realizing he can't defeat the time cops in this time, so he goes back into the past to conquer the past, sort of Aku style. And Ranzik is pretty awesome. He is funny, he is cool, he is very scary, he is villainous, has a very deep, compelling backstory, has a surprising amount of layers and maturity for a Power Rangers villain, and is pretty much a fun final boss. You want Katie next? Gotta knock off some monsters too. Hey Kat, what are your favorite Megazords? That's kind of hard, because ultimately the Megazords are just giant robots that kill each other. I do like the in-space Megazord, the one that fires the rocket ship as a missile at people. That one was pretty awesome. Ranzik's origin is odd because he just popped out of a pool of genetic ooze. That was kind of implying that Ranzik was kind of thrown away as a child. He was a prom night dumpster baby or something. Pretty weird, but yeah, the mutagen forced him to come out of like an ooze puddle. Speaking of Mad Max, they did an episode where they parody Mad Max. Yeah, I did see that. That was the Power Rangers Go to Hollywood episode. Ranzik at the end almost won. He barely won. A rare occurrence, he surrendered by the power of love. Yeah, that is what made it pretty good. Ranzik is definitely one of the best villains with a good backstory. Even though you understand why he's doing the things he does, you also know that he needs to be stopped. Yeah, that is what makes Ranzik cool. He is kind of Power Rangers Magneto. He's trying to destroy humanity because he was rejected as a mutant. He wants to make a safe zone for mutants, and one of his most redeeming factors is we do see Ranzik cares for his daughter, Nadira. He shelters her and spoils her rotten. He does feel love, and his love for her basically helps lead to his redemption arc. Rancic, very violent, very angry, pretty much treats anyone who stands against him as a complete monster that needs to be torn down. In Rancic's eyes, he is not the villain, he is the good guy trying to bring peace for mutant kind, but at the cost became no better than those who shunned him and tried to destroy him and mutant kind. Basically became the exact villain he was trying to fight against. Rancic very much needs to be stopped because he is a danger, he is killing people. He wants to destroy Silver Hill City and build his kingdom over it, and basically taking his aggression out on people who don't even know him, don't know how humans treat mutant kind in the future, which makes him a terrible person who needs to be stopped. Very compelling character arcs. He likes Nadira. He used to be friends with Frax until he realized who Frax really was. Don't worry, we'll get to Frax and his awesome twist at the end, but yeah. So, ultimately what makes Rancic dangerous is he's also badass. This guy was not afraid to get his hands dirty like Diabolico and Queen Banshiro were at the start. This guy is on the front lines. He fights the Rangers from episode 1. He's the first villain who kills a Red Ranger. He's the one who murders Alex and caused a rivalry between him and Jen, which went on all series. Eventually, in the finale, Rancic finally starts winning. The Time Force Rangers retreat to the future thanks to Wes, where he starts tearing it up using Frax's giant Doomatron robot. It's another evil giant kaiju monster, and unleashes his Cyclobot army upon all the land, and finally starts winning, is conquering humanity. However, his daughter Nadira starts undergoing a change of heart. Nadira has a redemption arc. Rancic is at odds with her over it. He does not like that his daughter is showing mercy towards humans, becoming weaker in his eyes, and Rancic very clearly starts losing his shit. He goes crazy, goes insane, obsessed with hunting down the Power Rangers, not knowing that they are long gone, and he's basically fighting a battle against just the Red and Quantum Ranger alone. Yeah, it's also pretty badass how he can pull swords out of his legs. Yeah, that's kind of Rancic's power. He grows extra bones, which he pulls out and turns into blades. It's part of his mutation. Rancic is the only main villain in Power Rangers to surrender in the final battle. Yeah, I was getting to that. He also gets an excellent redemption in the epic Time Force Wild Force crossover episode. Yeah, Rancic is fully changed by then. So, anyways, in the final battle, they're fighting. Rancic has lost his mind, going crazy. We find out that Wes and Rancic are doomed to kill each other in this final fight, and that's supposed to be the end of the Time Force's chapter in history. Wes and Rancic are both doomed to die. The government is kind of letting it play out. However, the future Rangers have a change of heart and decide that they like Wes and don't want to let him die. They go back to help him fight what's essentially believed to be a losing battle. Rancic finally fights the Time Rangers for the final time, and he pretty much wrecks them. Rancic is ultra badass. He is completely unhinged and dangerous, even when he's fully crazy now. However, during the scuffle, the depowered Rangers still put up a fight. He chases Jen into a warehouse, and basically what triggers Rancic's redemption arc. He goes in desperately trying to kill the Pink Ranger, accidentally shoots his daughter Nadira. Nadira was in this burning building trying to rescue a baby. He accidentally shoulder wounds her, and Rancic breaks down in tears, realizing he hurt the only person he ever loved. Nadira was trying to rescue a human baby, and shows him what she's been trying to tell him all along, that humans are capable of good and not so different from them. Rancic gets this heartwarming scene where he holds the human baby, and it reminds him of when he held his daughter Nadira when she was first brought into his life, and it finally awakens good that was lost in him. He realizes that he's become the villain, he's hurt the only person he's ever loved, and became everything he vowed to destroy. He's not so different from the monsters who mistreated him, and he realizes that humanity has the right to live and are people just like them, where Rancic actually surrenders to the Power Rangers and turns himself in. And yeah, this pretty much made Power Rangers history. He was actually winning, would have killed the Rangers, but realized he was the true monster all along and apologizes and turns himself in. The villain actually surrenders because he realized that he was the bad guy all along and his hatred drove him to hurting the one person he would have never hurt in his life. Nadira's love pretty much affects Randzik, and he allows Jen to put the cuffs on him and turns himself into the future to pay for his crimes. And yeah, it is a very heartfelt, compelling scene. Randzik's redemption arc is fully great. It is one of the best points of the series. It is a complete twist, a complete surprise, and actually well earned because we show that his love for Nadira overcame his hatred for humanity. That Randzik had good in him deep down all along, but it was lost by his pure hatred against humans and his racism, and it snapped him back to reality. Randzik turns himself in and actually becomes a badass good guy in the Wild Force crossover, where Randzik has like a mutant clinic helping people so they could avoid being hateful monsters like he was. And yeah, that made him very cool. That made him very memorable, very distinct, and one of the biggest emotional climaxes in Power Rangers history. Yeah, he got his redemption arc in the Wild Force crossover, liked that. There was that one episode where Nadira thought the Blue Ranger had a crush on her, and Randzik wanted to make sure that his daughter wouldn't get hurt or anything bad happened to the Blue Ranger. Yeah, funniest episode in the series, honestly. Nadira thinks the Blue Ranger has a crush on her, and Randzik, despite hating it, is actually supportive of the relationship and being nice to the Blue Ranger, even commanding the monster not to kill the blue one. That is pretty funny, and it does show you that Randzik deeply cares about Nadira even at his worst. Yep, they were saved by Nadira's compassion. Yeah, best moment in the series, Nadira's heartfelt speech pretty much helps change Randzik's mind, helps him realize that he is the bad guy on the wrong side, and Randzik becomes even more awesome in the Wild Force crossover, where Randzik and Nadira actually help the Rangers combat the evil orgs. They're helping the Time Force Rangers stand up to them, and Vernon Wells knocks this role out of the park. Really liked Vernon Wells' performance. He is up there with Lord Zed and Rita in terms of an iconic Power Rangers actor. He really liked the role too, and really liked the fans, or so I've heard. He's apparently cool with the fans, actually showed up at a lot of conventions, enjoyed his bit as Randzik. This allegedly helped save his career because it helped him, like, show that he was good at being in villain roles and helped a lot of kids remember him and his great performance. Drax inspired Nadira's sense of compassion. You mean Frax, yeah. The mutt. They called him mutant orgs. Oh, mute orgs. Okay, thank you. Thank you. That's what they called. Yeah, he fights the mute orgs. They were pretty cool. I'm still watching Wild Force. I haven't finished it yet. I'm on the Zen Aku arc. I believe that was his name. The evil wolf guy. You know who I'm talking about. Yeah, still watching Wild Force. But anyways, Randzik, he is a total master of destiny. He made Power Rangers history. He is up there in the top 5 best Power Ranger villains of all time. So, of course, he is a master of destiny too. Alright, need some water. Alright, let's knock off one of these monsters of the week. Looking for the first guy they ever fought. I believe that's this guy here, the weird mecha turtle thing. Okay, yeah, this looks like him. I believe this was the first mutant they fight in 2001. We'll put him on beta test. Yeah, they fight this weird mecha turtle looking thing. He looks like, Metalhead from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, except with a sharper jaw. Yeah, they basically fight a knockoff Metalhead. He's the first monster of the week. Randzik has a bunch of mutant convicts with him. He stole like a prison transport, and basically in a really creative choice, all the convicts are shrunken down into like action figures put in cryostasis, and they have this machine that enlarges them back to their normal size, and basically Randzik unleashes a monster mutant of the week to kill the Power Rangers, or do some zany harebrained scheme of the week. And I believe this was the first guy they fought. This is the first minion that fights the Power Rangers. They have that cool Megazord Matrix fight you see in the opening credits all the time. Noticon, the good mutant next. Hey Akira, glad you made it. Time Force is cool, time travel, then Miraculous London special. That's because Miraculous fell off the wagon. Anyways, this is the cool Mecha Turtle. I did like his design, and what made him stand out is easily that Matrix Megazord fight. Like, you know, the one they're like flying in the air, they're shooting missiles and lasers at each other in slow motion. They're like dodging Matrix style. Yeah, you know that scene. Basically, it's very fun. Sorry, I choked. Fun character. Just need some water. Yeah, we'll put him on beta test. He was definitely a fun starting villain. Yeah, Time Force had monsters captured into tiny action figures, while SPD traps monsters into playing cards. Very creative, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, yeah, we'll put him on beta test. Definitely a fine starter villain. We're gonna probably breeze through a lot of these one-shot villains, not gonna lie, but yeah. We'll put this guy with the mohawk. I remember him in the first episode where he basically just shows you how the machine works. And he dies in his first appearance in a cold opening. Yeah, mohawk guy, we're putting in, your time is up. This guy is literally just here to be an example. He shows you how the machine works. This is basically the first guy we see thrown into the action figure machine where they shrink him down to show you how the mutant convicts work and how the series' logic works. Then we see him back to full size in a cold open where Wes easily punk kills him. Yeah, definitely a lame monster. He's just an example. That's all he was. Well, here I am, rock you like a hurricane. Hey, just some random guy who comments. My favorite not-so-modern Power Rangers are Lightspeed, Time Force, and Ninja Storm. Time Force is 2001, so I do count that as modern. Anyways, Lightspeed Rescue, one of my favorite shows ever. Ninja Storm, not a huge fan. Honestly, I might not do Ninja Storm because not that too into it, especially with the worst villain, Lothor. Also, Time Force meets Hyperforce Rangers or Christina V's as the Black Ranger Vesper. His name is FlameCon. Okay, they never said it, okay? Was not expecting you to say that. What, I'm not a fan of Ninja Storm? Yeah, sorry, not too huge on Ninja Storm. I can understand other people loving it. I like to joke around with my friends, poke fun of them for what they like about it, but Lothor really sucks, and very glad Mesogog beat his ass in Dino Thunder. I don't look too fondly back on Ninja Storm out of all the Power Ranger shows because that one kind of gutted a lot of the mature themes, especially the ones Time Force and Wild Force had. Anyways, let's do the Cyclobots, who we'll put into Lucas Cool. These are the expendable minions. They're the henchmen that the villains summon. The Cyclobots are honestly pretty cool. Nice design, very distinct. The villains, Frax and Ransik, and sometimes the Monster of the Week, they basically throw a bunch of future nuts and bolts and screws, and they transform, Transformers style, into the Cyclobots. These robot Cyclops looking like Decepticon Terminator kind of things. Basically, they're machines. They're evil robot servants. We see a lot of them in comedy scenes, either pampering Nadira, giving back rubs to Ransik, and having badass fight scenes. Easily what made them stand out is their role in the finale, where they unleash an army of them, and yeah, we do see a hilarious 300 green screen of them. Did you like Dino Thunder? Yes, James, I do. Dino Thunder is awesome. I reference it all the time in reviews. I had the Dino Thunder theme in Teacher's Pet, that review, and I compared the creeps to Mesogog, so I do love that villain. Like, people want Jen Scott to fight Bunnex and Miraculous Lucina on Fire Emblem. I don't, because I don't know who Lucina is. No, I was referring to your reaction to my comment. Rock you like a hurricane. Okay. Cyclobots were fun foot soldiers. Love how they always do their arm waves every time, too. Yeah, they have this weird, like, jerky military walk. They're kind of like flailing their arms and jutting their legs, kind of more like dancers as they move out and walk soldier style. It's very funny, very distinct and memorable about them. What makes them awesome is easily the finale, where we finally see the Cyclobots are far deadlier than we've seen throughout the show. They're getting stuff done. We see endless army waves of them. They fight and nearly kill Wes. We get that cool scene where they invade the clock tower. Love the fight in the clock tower base where the Cyclobots finally invade the Power Rangers' home turf. Not as emotional as the destruction of the Aqua base, but pretty cool. And, oh yeah, Linkara points out, we finally see the Cyclobots talk in the final arc. Report. Excellent. Yeah, that's kind of what they sound like. They have this weird staticky voice. Also won't be the last time Power Rangers will use robot foot soldiers. Nope, it is not, but these were definitely iconic ones. Them storming in the finale made them far scarier than given credit for. I like the Batlings a bit more because they were a lot more threatening, destroying the Aqua base, but the invasion of the clock tower is also an iconic fight scene. They nearly kill Eric and Wes, but they manage to escape, blowing it up, destroying a good chunk of the Cyclobot army. Then we get that cool, if fake-looking green screen shot of them swarming Wes and Zurg rushing him. Wes nearly does die to these things, so yeah, they are a threat, and one of the Cyclobots manages to snipe Eric, so the Cyclobots were a lot more deadly than given credit for. They're definitely cool villain minions. We'll put them on Lucas Cool. Like Rabbit Con is next. Okay. Alright, so let's get a bad one out of the way. Let's talk about Alex. Alex going into Your Time Is Up. I believe I speak for everyone when I say, screw Alex. Alex sucks. This guy is a jerk and easily a fake ultimate hero. And hilariously enough, this guy was actually the real villain in Time Sentai, the Power Rangers show this one was based on. Alex is terrible. He's basically exists to die in the first episode. Alex is allegedly the ultimate hero. He's the Red Ranger of the year 3000. Everyone adores him, looks up to him. He's Jen's fiance. Everyone idolizes him, calls him a hero, calls him the best team leader ever, compares Wes unfavorably to him. Then when we actually meet Alex years later, he turns out to be anything but a great person. Mystic Force and Operation Overdrive are the worst. Worse than Lothor. Oh, Lothor. Okay, worse than Lothor. Or Ninja Fury. By the way, I found that Power Rangers almost have a Disney XD animated series, but it was a lost series and never been made. Agreed. Basically became the Sentinel Prime of Time Force and being a complete douche. Yeah, Alex sucks. He is the Sentinel Prime of this show. Okay, so to be fair, Alex is praised as a hero in the first episode. He basically dies. He tries to stop Ransik, Epic fails and gets killed, and loses his morpher. His final words are to Jen to carry on the mission and fight, and basically we believe he died. Spoilers, he did not die. He somehow got better. He is still alive and covertly helping the Rangers. He sends them upgraded Megazords, is watching them from the future. There's basically this mysterious watcher for the first half of the series. Then in episode 28, we find out it's Alex. Alex is alive. He's become Albert Wesker, apparently, wearing his shades at night. He comes back and decides that he's taking over the Power Rangers and booting Wes from the team because Alex thinks he knows better. Alex knows that the future is set in stone. He knows what's gonna happen, and he basically takes commands of the Rangers, and we very quickly find out he is not a good leader. He is awful. He is a terrible leader. He treats the Rangers like dirt, is constantly bossing them around, acting like a jackass, being petty towards even Jen, his lover, being a dickhead to all the Rangers, even Trip and Katie, who are nice to him. I do like that Lucas is the first one that snaps at him and calls him out. Lucas did not like Wes in the beginning, and it shows you how far they've come because Lucas quickly turns on Alex, calls him out, that he's the one who doesn't care about the future. He doesn't have to treat them like jerks. And yeah, basically Alex, awful leader. He is incompetent. He nearly gets the Rangers killed fighting Frax. He tries to stop Frax's giant Dragantron robot. Is right here. Here he is. Tries to help them stop Dragantron, and basically acts like a total Sentinel Prime. He's full of himself, he's a jerk, he's commanding. It makes you question what Jen ever saw in him. So, there's apparently two fan theories out there that Alex's personality was changed after he died, or the Rangers affecting the future somehow made him live a different life, and it's believed that this altered how Alex was, but it's never dived into or delved further. We believe that his near-death experience, or him being retconned in the past, somehow affected him, and it's why he's a dickhead Sentinel Prime. Basically, Alex is a dick until Wes takes command, Wes comes back, decides, screw destiny, I'm the one who decides the future, and forces Alex to hand over his morpher, and Alex realizes Wes is right, Wes is the leader that these Rangers need, and Wes actually gets stuff done. So, it is pretty cool that Wes and Alex are played by the same guy, but it really shows you, like, his great acting range, but ultimately Alex is unlikable. He's a douche. Do not like him. He only acts that way because he's trying to save the future. You know, he doesn't have to be a dick to his fiance, I'm just saying. Like we have Alex Kubel. Yeah, honestly, fuck Alex. Even as a kid, I didn't like him. Totally glad Jen upgraded from that inferior coffee to the flawless OG. Great, Emily. Yeah, Alex, easily, this might be the worst character on the show. Which, yeah, it really tells you how good Time Force was, because the guy who's supposed to be morally gray is the worst character. But yeah, basically, Alex tries to guide the Rangers back to his way of thinking. He gets demoted, is there in the future, still helping them, and basically tries to command the Rangers to dump Wes because they're doomed to die to fight Ransik. And yeah, pretty dick move, very cowardly, bringing his fiance back because he wants to do her, and ultimately very satisfying that Jen dumps his ass and leaves her engagement ring right in front of him. And an entire room full of people, which made me laugh because he deserved that. Alex sucks. He is one of the worst characters because he's so unlikable. Unrelated, but since you rank the monsters from Are You Afraid of the Dark and Goosebumps, will you be doing the same with Haunting Hour? Like, not right now, just asking. I am trying to find a Haunting Hour monsters tier list. I've not found one that has, like, all the monsters yet. I only found, like, seasonal ones, like the Season 1 monsters, Season 2, etc. Trying to find a good one. He's not so much a bad leader, he's just upset because the Rangers messed with the timeline. He's not incompetent. Oh, really? Kicking Wes off the team and yelling at the Rangers to get off the ground when they've been beaten up and are bloodied and bruised? Yeah, get up! Don't you care about the future? It's like, dude, they were shot out of a friggin' Megazord and are in pain. What a dickhead. Yeah, that's not incompetence, telling soldiers who are wounded and dying to get the hell up. He acts like a jerk for a reason. Yeah, a bad reason. Because he's trying to save the future, and that justifies him treating his fiancé and friends like dirt. Guess he's better than Chloe? Yeah, because Alex does have a redemption arc. To be fair, he does save Mr. Collins' life later. Realizing that Wes was right, he saved Mr. Collins with a future medical device. It snaps the dad back to life, and Alex helps Wes make peace with his dad and realize that, yeah, you can decide your own future, and basically sort of an apology for being a dickhead, but yeah, it wasn't enough to make me like him, especially by the finale where he's trying to convince the Rangers to puss out of the final fight with Ransik. Like Kat, who wins, Jen Scott or Bunnex from Miraculous? Ooh, that is tough. I like both of them. Might have to go with Bunnex because she is a keeper of time, whereas Jen Scott is an officer of time. Wes's dad and Eric were better examples of a character who was a jerk at first, but got better over time as the series went on. Fully agree, Shadow Link. They have a lot of characters who are jerks who got better. Ransik is, funnily enough, one of them too, because yeah, have a lot of characters who get redemption. It's kind of a feeling of hope. Time Force has, you can decide your future and shape it for the better, and we see a lot of dickhead characters become nice guys, including a few monsters of the week. Time Force had a lot of great redemption arcs, but Alex was one of the weaker ones because he was kind of a dick for no reason. That was the problem. Why not make your own tier list? Because that takes time, Anime Night. He's got a military mindset. Lots of guys act like that. You know, Jen and Lucas are also military mindset people, and they became nice friends with Wes, Trip, and Katie. Alex did not. What are the best foot soldiers? The Foot Elite from Ninja Turtles 2003. If you're asking me, okay, I might have to go with... I do have a soft spot for the Battlings, but I do think those Space Knights from In Space were S tier. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, the Quantrons or something like that. They're these weird alien knights who serve Astronema and Dark Spectre. Those were definitely the S tier minions for me. Wes Collins is Waishni or Cat Noir Miraculous or Time Force. They have strict dad. Yeah, except Wes's dad actually became nicer. Alex does accept that Jen loves Wes, and though he's heartbroken, he helps the Rangers return to the present. Well, he wants to protect the future, that's why. It's more of a responsibility than he actually cared. Well, Gens have the Morphin Grid. That is a source of energy. That is bigger than the Kwami power. Yeah, Power Rangers are better than Kwamis. Anyways, Alex, he's gone on Your Time Is Up because he's just too unlikable. I'm sorry, he is. Alright, so let's knock another mutant off the side. Okay, I guess people want to talk about the good mutant. I'm trying to remember his name. This is the mutant who didn't want to be a bad guy. He was a kid arrested for stealing food. We'll put him on Lucas Cool. You don't remember the episode Trip Takes a Stand, the racism episode, where the Power Rangers finally learned that not all the mutants are evil. This is basically a child who was arrested for stealing food. The child was a homeless kid who lived on the streets and was persecuted for being a mutant monster. And as Rancic correctly pointed out, humanity feared mutants in the future and treated them like dirt. And this kid was sent to prison with a lot of psychopaths and serial killers, and he doesn't want to be evil, he just wants to live. Rancic unleashes him on the land. Frax tries to mind control him to make him be a serial killer like the other mutants. However, Trip has an odd friendship with him, where they form a very cute, likable friendship, and Trip stands up to that racist cop Eric about how the kid is actually innocent and good, and Trip is a non-human, he's an alien, so he relates with him. That's his name, Notakon, okay. Alex does accept that okay. Read that one. Like, is Mantamobile there? Not sure. Might be. RabbitCon is the name. Not Tragic Monster. Always did like it when Power Rangers do episodes of not having every monster be evil. Another good episode going to Wasp with a Heart from In Space. Yeah. There was also one where one of the monsters thought they stole, like, his son or something. Anyways, this is Notakon, as everyone seems to be saying. Okay, basically, he's a kid. He's a kid who committed a small-time crime, but was cast aside by their corrupt racist society, being thrown into, basically in the slammer with a bunch of psychotic evil mutants, and Trip befriends him, stands up for him. Frax tries to force him into evil, plants a mind control chip onto him, but Trip stands up to that racist cop Eric, and reveals that he's an alien, and that you only hate him because he's different, he deserves to live. And Eric is actually swayed, pretends he's not, but actually does care, and he shows the mutant mercy. However, Frax forces him to fight with the mind-controlled chip, and the Rangers are forced to put him down, but the monster actually wants this. He wants to be locked up because he doesn't like hurting people. So, Trip does the right thing and puts him back into cryo-sleep, and they take better care of him, putting him with a better prison and not with the psychotic monster villains they fight every week. Really cute story, really deep, compelling Power Rangers tale that has held up amazingly well, and this monster is definitely going on Lucas Cool because he just wanted to live and made a Power Ranger monster sympathetic. So yeah, he's cool. Talk a little about Forever Red. That is with every Red Ranger up to Wild Force, and yeah, really cool seeing Jason come back. Played by the guy from the Turbo movie, I believe. We got to see Tommy, got to see TJ, got to see Carter Grayson, best Red Ranger ever. Wes and Eric are also in Forever Red. Got to see the Lion Ranger. That was a pretty awesome episode, and they're fighting the Beetleborgs of all characters. Yeah, Forever Red is an iconic anniversary special. Thought about reviewing it once, but wasn't sure if enough people cared. Like Miraculous should have learned power and time travel from Time Force. Like Hyperforce is a D&D game, but Christina V is the first female Black Ranger. Good for her. What's your opinion on 2 Red Rangers, Quantum and Red, and the Forever Red episode? Well, that's very hard. I know the Quantum Ranger, Eric, is in there, and does Eric really count as a Red Ranger? I know he has red plating, but he wasn't one of the Ranger leaders. It's like all the guys who spearheaded the Power Ranger teams. They even got Leo back for that. Talk about that motorcycle mutant who has a past with Lucas next. Okay, you mean Dash. Trying to find him. Sorry, some of the pictures are just so small. It's very hard to make them out. Trying to look for Dash. If anyone sees him on here, I think this is him. But I could be wrong. Trying to help narrow down the playing field. Alright, we'll talk about this guy from the X-Volt. Yeah, Frax finds the key to the X-Volt. This is basically the extreme isolation for the most dangerous mutants. These are full-blown serial killer, mass murderers, and terrorist mutants. And this guy basically shot a beam which broke Wes's helmet, showing how powerful he is. So we'll put him on beta test. I'll put him higher than Turtle Man. Yeah, basically this guy is a starter villain for the Quantum Ranger arc. Wes and his team are fighting their first, the X-Chamber mutants, and this guy is an electrical-based cyborg mutant. He's fighting, and he actually wounds the Red Ranger, breaking his cool helmet here, where you can see his eyes, leading to the funniest scene where Mr. Collins and Eric recognize Wes under the Red Ranger armor when it's literally just his eyes exposed. And FYI, his face is like covered in ash. It is just his eyes with a lot of dirt over his face, and they identify him from like 50 feet away. Ah, yes, the episode where Wes's dad finds out his son is the Red Ranger. Dash is the one wearing green. Okay, thank you. Yeah, sorry, trying to narrow down this playing field. So it can be easier to identify. I know who you're talking about. I do like Dash. He's good. Anyways, this guy's one of the X-Volt mutants. Basically, fights and unmasks Wes. That is his biggest contribution. He is a serious threat because he also takes down the Silver Guardians. He wounds the leader, and that's what leads to Eric becoming the Silver Guardians leader, and Wes exposing his identity. We'll put him on beta test because he did have a more plot-relevant role than most of these guys. So yeah, he's definitely a cool robot. Okay, so the guy, is this him you're talking about? The guy in green? I don't think this is him. Yeah, sorry, trying to look for Dash. I know who you're talking about. It's just very hard to recognize some of these. Trying to narrow some of these down. Let's take down the idiot bully one, the one Lucas's bodyguard. This is the weird hammerhead fish. We'll put him on Cyclonaut. I do like this guy's design. He is a pretty cool hammerhead shark kind of face. His, like, eyes are on these two side fins here, and his mouth is, like, in the center. This hammerhead shark-looking mutant basically is trying to abduct a scientist who invents these power crystals. They need the scientists for Frax and Ranzik for their evil schemes, and basically this guy hunts down the scientist's daughter. This is from where Lucas is the bodyguard for a little girl and they get into wacky adventures. Basically, this guy is a bully. The little girl tries to bribe him with her teddy bear, and she's like, "This is how much your bear means to me." Yeah, he like throws it and burns the bear with his lasers. It's such a petty dick move, but kind of darkly funny. Yeah, basically he's an idiot bully, and Lucas takes a stand against him, reveals that he's the Blue Ranger from this little girl, and beats his ass, killing him. Yeah, one of the more forgettable ones. That is only the reason why he's on Cyclonaut is because I love that this guy burns a little girl's teddy bear, just to show you what a dick he is. Yeah, okay, we'll put him on Cyclonaut. Definitely okay villain. Alright, trying to recognize, I think this is Dash. I know who you're talking about. I'm just trying to figure out where he is on this list. I can't see, okay? Alright, we'll take down the Dragantron. This is Frax's ultimate killing machine, and we'll put him on Lucas Cool. This is the giant dragon robot that Frax builds. It's his ultimate giant kaiju creation. After Frax backstabs Ranzik, he uses the supplies to build the Dragantron, his ultimate death machine to take over Silver Hill. And this is the monster Alex and the Rangers struggle against because the Dragantron is way too tough. It takes like 3 episodes to kill this guy, so yeah, it is a pretty badass mecha monster. Basically, it's a mindless drone. It serves Frax, but nearly killed the Power Rangers, so it does win points for that. Talk about Eric and the Quantum Saurus Rex, and why he's red and appears in Forever Red. Is he a Red Ranger? What's a Quantum Saurus Rex? Alright, you want to talk about the Quantum Ranger then. Let's talk about Eric, played by Virgil from Devil May Cry. Yeah, Emily, I remember you told me that. Virgil plays Eric, the Quantum Power Ranger, going into Master of Destiny. This is Wes's ex-best friend Eric. For the longest time, I thought they were actually like stepbrothers, but no, I was wrong. They were just really close best friends. Now I'm motivated. Is his name of the Hammerhead Shark Mutant. Okay, thank you, Akira. Yeah, we'll put him on Cyclonaut. He had one funny moment. In Shadow Part 2 and Boom, Dragatron's arms and legs were combined with the head of one of the gatekeepers and a generic body where a hybrid is seen as one of the patrons at Piggy's restaurant. Okay, they did give him a cameo again. Now I'm motivated. Okay, Eric, Quantum Ranger, going in Master of Destiny. So, they did kind of recycle the Red Ranger's outfit. If you can't tell, he has a spiky arrow on him instead of a regular triangle arrow. They kind of took his Super Sentai outfit and redid it. Basically, Eric is also kind of a douche. He's Wes's former best friend. They both attended the same elitist prep school together. However, Eric was poor. He came from nothing. He had to work hard for everything he ever got, and sort of resented his best friend Wes for that. Wes was rich, had everything handed to him on a silver platter, didn't know the struggles he had to endure, and Wes tried to be Eric's friend, but ultimately Eric kind of pushed him away. For most of the series, Eric is a total dickhead. He treats Wes and the Rangers like a nuisance, doesn't like them, but over time he slowly starts to warm up to them, realizing that the Rangers are good. Eric is pretty much a definitive example of shaping your own destiny. We find out that there's a 6th power morpher. It was sent from the future, but overshot and ended up lost in the past. The Quantum Saurus Rex and the Quantum Morpher were both lost to history. We find out years later an archaeology team uncovers the Quantum Morpher, and during a fight, the mutants try to steal it. Ranzik wants the Quantum Power, both the Morpher and the T-Rex. However, Eric takes matters into his own hands and grabs a hold of his future. He steals the Quantum Morpher and bonds it to his genetic code, puts his hand in that weird Dune box and gets the Quantum Morpher, and the Quantum Ranger power is a prototype, slightly more powerful 6 Ranger outfit, where he fights the mutants and can actually take on mutants all by himself without a team. Eric is definitely a great character, learning to grow and trust the other Rangers as the series goes on. Also, the Eric actor has his own YouTube channel. Oh, good for him. Why do you refuse to gain power? Southworth also auditioned for Adam Park in Mighty Morphin and Chad Lee from Lightspeed Rescue. He also auditioned to be Wes. Apparently this guy, Southworth, actually tried to be on Power Rangers multiple times. He was a huge fan of the show, got rejected multiple times until he eventually landed the role as Eric, the 6th Ranger, and easily made his mark in Power Rangers history as one of the best 6 Rangers ever. Eric does not work well with others. He works alone. He's a lone wolf. This is one of the few 6 Rangers who does not cooperate with the team for the longest time. He's doing his own thing, being his own hero. Basically, Eric uses his quantum power to help the Silver Guardians. These are a military unit who protect the city. They work for Wes's dad, Mr. Collins, and Eric becomes the new leader of the Silver Guardians team, using his Power Ranger stuff to benefit their government, basically. Helping Mr. Collins, helping upgrade their military. He's kind of a government-funded superhero in the same vein as the Lightspeed Rescue heroes. However, Eric is kind of a cold-hearted douche. He's a dick at first. Nobody understands him. However, as the show goes on, Eric slowly opens up. He becomes nicer. He becomes less of a dick. We see he does have a good side to him. He's friends with a little girl who takes care of his pet birds. He actually shows mercy to Notakon, the mutant boy, here after he realizes Trip was right. He's lonely, but he just pretends he's not. He acts like a jerk to basically hide how alone and sad he is. Eric is actually a nice guy deep down, but covers it with a very harsh, rough front surface. Sorry. Also, Eric was Kenshi in Mortal Kombat Legacy. Ooh, did not know that. Good for him. Quantum Ranger is better than Queen Bee, Chloe. Oh, dude. Nadira is better than Chloe. Favorite Six Ranger? Ooh, that is a tough one. The Six Rangers are always awesome. My brother Wolf loves the Wolf Ranger from Wild Force. That is his favorite Six Ranger. I agree, he was pretty cool. I do like the Titanium Ranger a lot. I also like the Magna Defender from Lost Galaxy. Lost Galaxy is one of my favorite Power Ranger shows, so I have a lot I love from that. Quantum Ranger, not one of my top 5 favorites, but might be in the top 10 favorites because Southworth does really do a good job. The Q-Rex never once combines with the Time Force Megazord. Also, is Katie in the list? Yeah, she's right here, the Yellow Ranger. We'll get to her later. Actually, it's funny how 2 Power Ranger actors ends up being in Devil May Cry. Eric playing as Virgil, and Adam from Mighty Morphin as Nero. Apparently, Dante's voice actor had a cameo in Time Force. Dante plays the guy driving the space car that the Rangers hijack. Yeah, for reals, that is one of Dante's voice actors. He's the guy that Katie hucks out of the hovercraft. That was apparently him in one of his early gigs. Anyways, Eric uses his quantum power. They go back to the dinosaur period and get the Quantumsaurus Rex. Eric tames control over the Rex and uses his powers for good. Ultimately forms a rocky relationship with the main Rangers, but he slowly but surely comes around. He respects them. He and Wes sort of rebuild their friendship. He never liked Wes until Wes started reaching out to him, showing that he's changed and gaining his respect, showing that the Rangers are indeed good, and get a very nice bromance, basically. Eric and Wes go from hating each other to becoming total bros. The finale, ultimately the great conclusion to Eric's redemption arc. Eric and Wes are kind of forced to team up together because the other Rangers left and Randzik is winning. They have like a war zone all across Silver Hill. Eric and Wes reluctantly team up and they finally bury the hatchet, put aside their hatred, and become best friends. And yeah, one of the best scenes is the fight on the clock tower, where Wes and Eric both fight the Cyclobots swarming the tower, blow it up, and go flying on their cool vehicles. Yeah, really kick-ass scene. Eric ultimately takes a bullet for Wes and his dad. Allegedly, Eric was supposed to die in the finale, but the executives vetoed against it because Eric was too popular of a character and they didn't want to kill him off. Eric was supposed to die when that Cyclobot tries sniping them out. He takes a shot, shoots the evil robot, and passes the Morpher onto Wes for the final fight, basically riding the Sixth Ranger out because he's too OP to win the final battle. Go, go, Power Rangers. Hey, Light Jones. Hey, what's up? Just doing Time Force here. Also, the first time I watched Power Rangers is Jungle Fury, where it has a purple Wolf Ranger. Yeah, I saw pics of that. My brother Wolf likes Merrick, the Wild Force Wolf Ranger, the gray and blue one, the original Wolf. So yeah, Eric has a really nice redemption arc, and I will put him on Master of Destiny. He starts out as a dick and is kind of what Alex was supposed to be. Basically a dickhead who comes around and becomes a nice guy, and Eric, it was a lot more earned. Basically, he was kind of resentful of Wes because Wes had it easy, but he realizes Wes is a good person trying to make do with what he has, and Eric eats his slice of humble pie and becomes true bros with him. After Jen goes to the future, Wes and Eric finally become friends, and they become the co-commanders of the Silver Guardians and share their Ranger powers together. Then Eric hooks up with the Yellow Ranger in the Wild Force crossover. Yeah, I do like Taylor. I believe the Yellow Wild Force Ranger, the Eagle Ranger, hooks up with Eric. They have a very funny romance. It is pretty funny seeing Eric actually get a ship with another Ranger. Yeah, I believe Eric and the Yellow Wild Force Ranger definitely became a couple. So yeah, Eric, he's gone on Master of Destiny for sure. Quantum power rules. Alright, I believe this is the first X-Chamber mutant. We'll also put him onto beta test. This is when we find out that there are extreme isolation mutants, and Frax gets the key to the X-Chamber, and he's kind of the first guy he unleashes, and we see that the mutants are a genuine threat to the Power Rangers from this point onward, because there are some mutants so crazy they had to be in like a double lockup, and he definitely set the standards high for how dangerous these mutants could be. This mutant, I believe, has a hilarious line where he blows up a car, "Hope you're insured," and sets it on fire. Very compelling character, not one of the iconic monsters, but we'll put him on beta test because he did show that the mutants did grow as a threat. I say Alex earned his redemption because he helped the Rangers save Mr. Collins' life and accepted Jen's feelings for Wes. Well, Ira, we technically don't see him accept Jen's feelings for Wes. For all we know, he could be pissed off about it, but hiding his contempt for professional sake. Nadira and Blue forever. You really like that couple? Like, who watches the most anime, Wolf or Cat? Definitely Wolf. Wolf is more of an anime fan. I dabble in it from time to time, watch some of the good ones and some of the lesser ones. Alright. We'll also put this weird caterpillar guy. I believe this was a plant villain. We'll put him on Cyclone Nut. He had a cool design and basically had like the power to suck things with his weird air hose hands. Kind of forgettable. We'll put him on there. I guess we should also put the time travel guy. This is the time travel mutant who goes back to the dinosaur era. Basically, he opens up a time portal in the sky and tries to tame the Quantumsaurus Rex. We'll put him on beta test because he nearly succeeds. This guy actually did control the Quantumsaurus Rex for a short period of time. This is the time travel mutant. He basically goes back, puts a mind-controlled chip on the Quantumsaurus Rex, almost destroys the city with it until the Quantum Ranger kicked his ass. So, definitely a genuine threat. We'll put him on beta test because he did nearly succeed. You can accept a person's feelings but still be mad about it in private. Well, that's why I don't like Alex. I'm watching Yu Yu Hakusho. Never heard of it. Centipedicon. Okay, that was his name. Oh, that's his name. Okay, thank you. Yeah, the time travel guy will put on beta test. Speaking of which, we'll also put Brickneck on beta test. I do actually remember this guy's design. This guy almost succeeds at stealing the Quantum Morpher. However, Eric gets his hands on it first, and he's the first mutant the Quantum Ranger kills. And I do like Brickneck. He was pretty tough, had a distinct design, and honestly thought Gary Anthony Williams voiced him because he didn't really sound like it. Really like his design, so I'll put him on beta test because he stood out amongst the more forgettable mutants. Well, speaking of which, I think this is also another turtle guy. We'll put him on beta test. Another forgettable mutant villain. I'll put him above this one at least because he had a more silver shiny look to him. Sorry, trying to find Dash, hoping to narrow it down. Eric definitely did have some good first mutant fights. Yeah, he did. They really showed off that quantum power. Yellow Ranger ready? Okay, let me just get some water. Alright, you want another Power Ranger? We'll talk about Katie, the Yellow Ranger. Alright, so this one might hurt a bit, but we're putting her on Lucas Cool. I really liked Katie as a kitten, really adored her. I thought she was pretty hot. Yeah, she was really beautiful, very pretty, and very fun. Katie is pretty much the fun girl on the team. She's the Yellow Ranger. She's a replacement for Kelsey, to say the least. This is the Yellow Ranger. She's a friend of Jen. She's mostly friends with Trip. We see her and the Green Ranger hanging out a lot. Katie is implied to be an alien because she has super strength. She gives like painful bear hugs to people. She's a hugger. She has super strength. She can pick up cars, pick up couches. She has these awesome special effects which make her look like she's stronger than the Incredible Hulk. She is a really kick-ass ranger. Unfortunately, she does not make it onto S tier because she is the one ranger who had a severe lack of screen time. I believe Katie had like only 2 solo episodes. Basically, she's kind of like the team's cool big sister. She likes hanging out and playing with the gang, teases them from time to time over their drama, ships Jen and Wes together, gets into a lot of friendship scenarios. She had like 2 episodes which actually focused on her though. Yeah, I kind of wish she got more focus. Pretty much her only weakness. Aside from that, Katie is still pretty cool. Yeah, Katie beats up idiot bullies. That makes her automatically Lucas Cool in my book. Basically, Katie has a weird dream episode where she dreams about like a ghost in the clock tower and travels back into the past where she's in like Back to the Future 3. She helps the clock tower creator basically stand up for himself, grow a spine, regain some self-esteem, self-confidence, and stand up to his idiot bullies, not Griff Tannen. It's kind of a Back to the Future episode. She goes back in time and nobody questions how this confident, standoffish black woman from the modern period is mouthing off to white people, but hey, we'll look past that. Basically, she helps this loser guy stand up for himself and gain a spine and beats up the idiot bullies. Really like Katie beating up idiot bullies. That makes her automatically cool in my book. She stands up for him, but eventually teaches him to fight his own battles, where he kicks the idiot bully in the nuts and scores with his hot girlfriend. And yeah, Katie helped shape his future for the better, and we find out it wasn't a dream, it really happened. Somehow. Deborah Estelle Phillips is her actress. Yeah, she's very pretty. I really liked her. I always thought the Yellow Rangers were hotter than the Pink Rangers for the longest time. Also, she was in Snoop Dogg's music video. Yeah, that probably doesn't surprise me. Katie's also a black woman, if you can't tell behind that nice helmet. She was a pretty cool character. I believe she was the first no, she wasn't the first black woman as the female Power Ranger. That was Aisha, yeah. Yeah, Katie is really cool. Really liked her character. Her other episode is honestly her only deep character-driven one, where she has a family, she's fighting for them, and we find out the Time Force Rangers are affecting the future, and Katie has kind of a crisis of faith. She questions their mission, questions what they're doing, realizes that she might be fighting a worthless battle, and questions if her family might still exist in the future. She's afraid that her actions are going to retcon and alter her future and erase her family from existence, and she questions remaining as a Time Force Ranger, nearly quits, has kind of this crisis she undergoes, and basically Katie stands out of the battle, is freaking out, very worried, very terrified and fearful of what's going to happen. However, Wes actually bonds with Katie and tells her that her family should be her motivation for fighting, that she should be fighting to build a better future and keep her family's future bright, keep them alive, and give them a better tomorrow. And this restores Katie's self-confidence and makes her realize that being a Time Force Ranger is indeed important, and she does have something worth fighting for after all, where Katie gets her groove back and helps kill the monster, and that's kind of all for her character arc. She's basically kind of with an ensemble cast who all have the same reaction and same group character dynamic. It's never explained where her super strength comes from, and yes, she is hot. Yeah, Phillips is very pretty. I really liked her. She looked very beautiful, very dazzling. I'm kind of surprised everyone didn't say she was just as hot as Jen was, because I thought they were both very gorgeous. Really liked her, had a crush on her, and definitely Maya, the jungle princess from Lost Galaxy. They were the hottest Yellow Rangers. Really liked her. I wish Katie got more. Unfortunately, she is the one ranger who got the shaft. She got treated like Dana Mitchell, the Pink Ranger of Lightspeed Rescue. She was sidelined for way too long. She did have some good lines and funny scenes, so she got a lot more than her and did have her cool moments. Her super strength, her actress has said in interviews that she was supposed to be an alien. She did say that Katie is not of our world, and yeah, that pretty much says alien, so yeah, that's where her super strength came from. Yeah, she looks like a cool role for Alia, Mom. Yeah, maybe. Anyways, Katie, I think she's a pretty cool Yellow Ranger, not gonna lie. She's very fun. She is the first to also defend that Wes is a good leader. She did like Wes since the beginning, so she was definitely more chill than Jen and Lucas were, which made her a lot more friendly. She was the upbeat character. We'll put her on Lucas Cool. Definitely a fun Yellow Ranger. Alright, let's do Venomark. Venomark, the toxic poison mutant. We'll actually put him on Lucas Cool. This is one of the first mutants that is so dangerous it terrifies Ransik. Venomark is basically this weird mosquito ghoul-like alien whose power is he can bite and infect people with a fatal virus. He goes around biting others. He's a full-blown serial killer, basically leaving his mark on his victims, and they are killed by this virus, mutating them to death. We find out he bit Ransik years ago, and he is the one mutant Ransik despises with a burning passion. I remember how Katie starts in that one episode where she meets the founder of the clock tower, and it was considered non-canon. Yeah, that was a really weird episode. I will count it as canon, but yeah, it's a very weird ghost time travel episode. BRB, I'm gonna eat at the food court. Okay, see you, Kira. We'll do Venomark. We're putting him on Lucas Cool. This guy, very dangerous, but real scary mutant too. This guy basically likes killing people. He's going out infecting as many people as he can. And unfortunately, he does bite 4 of the Power Rangers, except for Wes, of course. Wes and the Quantum Ranger are the only ones who avoid him, and his power almost destroys the entire city. He's going on a killing spree, basically, and Ransik actually steps in and tries to kill him. He bit Ransik years ago and caused Ransik to get addicted to this super serum, which basically keeps him alive. Venomark is definitely my favorite monster of Time Force with how important he was to the plot. Not to mention this virus-infecting power was very deadly. It was. Venomark is a mutant I definitely don't want to mess with. Yeah, he is pretty scary too, not gonna lie. If you can't tell, he looks like a weird ghoul with blob skin all over him, has very sharp fangs, he goes around, he moves very fast, he is a flyer, he flies around basically biting people, leaving this really gross, disgusting, like yellow lipstick mark on people's necks, infecting and killing people basically for fun, and that's what makes him very monstrous. He likes killing people. He unfortunately ran afoul of Ransik. He bit him. Ransik beat his ass, but he got away until he was captured. Frax basically unleashes him to enact his ultimate endgame plan of killing Ransik and the Rangers altogether. Venomark very nearly succeeds at killing 4 of the Time Force Rangers. Wes finds the cure. Basically, Ransik nearly kills Venomark, but is struck by a mutant attack. He's forced to drink this serum. However, he drops an unfinished bile on the ground, and Wes realizes this is the cure that can stop Venomark's disease. He gets the broken glass with a single drop of the serum in it and gives it over to his father, because his father has the means to manufacture a cure. Basically, it leads to a very mature decision where Wes realizes he needs to swallow his pride and ask his dad for help. His dad agrees to it because he realizes they can profit off of this, but Wes just wants the cure and to save all the lives in this city. They manufacture a cure and it works. It can cure humans, but it doesn't work on mutants, which is why Randzik needs to keep drinking it. Randzik needs to keep the serum around basically forever in order to live, and we find out it actually does fully cure humans. It saves the Time Force Rangers, it saves civilians. Eric has a moment where he helps like a helpless old lady and people at the hospital. They administer the cure, where Venomark comes back and tries to finish the job and basically destroy the cure. He doesn't want anyone recovering and healing from his deadly disease, where he has his epic fight with the Power Rangers and the Quantum Ranger, and satisfying kill of the series, the Quantum Ranger kills this evil toxic bastard. Definitely a mutant who was very vital to the plot, so he did stand out. We're putting him on Lucas Cool because he is one of the scariest toxic monsters ever. Plus, it's one of the few mutants Randzik fought because of their history. Venomark, Randzik, I thought I destroyed you! You wished you had. Yeah, very badass moment. Very nice to see Randzik actually has standards. This is a villain so evil, Randzik basically hated him and tried to murder him himself. The episode he was also got me wondering, how come we don't have that advanced tech like Biolab had in 2001 since we're in 2025? Because Japan is a lot more progressive than America. So the virus on Randzik was pretty much cured forever when he turned fully human. Yeah, that was kind of how they wrapped up that plot thread. Randzik steals the cure, and I believe he cured his mutation by the time of the Wild Force crossover. I still have to rewatch that episode. I am coming back to it, but I'm stuck on the Zen Aku arc right now. But yeah, Randzik does get cured and kicks his addiction. The serum does work on humans, and that's what stops Venomark's disease from spreading. Alright, need some water. So yeah, Venomark, definitely a cool monster because of how evil he is, and so evil that even the main villain hates and dreads him. So we'll put him on Lucas Cool. Alright, got some one-shot characters I want to take off. Oh, let's knock off Vipra's Demon. Anybody remember this guy? This is the ultimate demon that Vipra, an S-tier Power Rangers character who I will defend, summoned this demon. If you don't know, this was the Lightspeed Rescue crossover with Time Force. Basically, the Rescue Rangers team up with the Power Rangers of Time Force to stop Vipra, for who's back from the grave. She summons this ultimate demon to kill the entire world and enact her revenge. And he's basically punk killed when all the Rangers shoot him. Yeah, he's going into your time is up. Ah, you want Frax next? Okay. We're knocking off a bad one first. So, if you don't remember, Vipra was somehow still alive. She, I guess, escaped from hell. She's crawling out of a grave, wondering who gave her the grave, but whatever. She gets out of this grave and teams up with Randzik to summon this super duper demon who will help her destroy Mariner Bay and the Rescue Rangers. However, the Rescue Rangers team up and basically anticlimactically kill this guy. He's basically shot to death and he doesn't even get a giant monster fight. Yeah, the super demon who was only around for 5 minutes with Vipra and didn't do much. Build up for nothing. The Lightspeed Rescue and Time Force crossover was kind of a letdown. They did my girl Vipra so dirty. I do love Vipra. Vipra is S tier and I will defend her. But her demon, yeah, he belongs down here. He is somehow worse than her. He showed up for 5 minutes, then gets punk killed by all the Rangers blasting him. Doesn't even turn into a giant monster for a Megazord fight. He and Vipra are both just shot and blown up. That is the end of her super demon. He's going down here for sure. I see Vipra's kinda henchmen are here too. They didn't do much either. Oh yeah, we'll also knock off the Vipra ghouls. Basically, these were Vipra's henchmen. They fight the Rangers and all they do are basically cannon fodder. Yeah, we'll put them on your time is up because all they did was show up and get their asses kicked by the Rangers in their color team-ups. Yeah, I know, it's pretty cool seeing the colors all team up. The two pinks, the two yellows, the two greens, etc. all team up and basically fight one of these knockoff ghouls. Yeah, they are basically cannon fodder. They're on Your Time Is Up. Did my girl Viper so dirty. And the Lightspeed Rescue Rangers, all of them except for Carter Grayson, really got shafted in this. That is the worst part about the Lightspeed Rescue. Only Carter Grayson really mattered. Everyone else just kind of showed up. They do confirm that Miss Fairweather and Joel did get married, so that was nice. I do like how all the Lightspeed Rangers are still friends. They have each other's numbers, which is more than I can say about the Wild Force Rangers. Oh, and love how Ryan and Eric just show up out of nowhere in a car. Yeah, we don't even see Ryan called. He and Eric are apparently best friends. I guess they met on Facebook or something. Yeah, Ryan just shows up because we needed to have all the 6 Rangers here too, so yeah. Definitely not one of the best crossovers. It was kind of a letdown, and these demons are definitely deserving to be down here below Alex. Alright, is this Dash? I'm still trying to recognize him. Alright, let's knock off one of these one of these generic monsters. I don't remember who this guy is. I guess we'll put him on Cyclonut. We should also knock off Gluto. Did anybody like Gluto? Gluto, okay, so Gluto is actually the main villain of the Super Sentai show, Time Sentai. He's actually Don Del Nero, the real villain, but basically in America, they gave this guy's entire personality to Ranzik. Gluto, he had funny moments, so we'll put him on beta test. Gluto was never one of my favorite Power Ranger villains. Basically, he has the power to fart and fly on his gas. Basically, he's the big, fat, stupid idiot who's a comic relief villain. He and Nadira are usually bouncing off each other. Gluto has a huge crush on Nadira, and she very blatantly does not like him because no woman would want this disgusting Jabba the Hutt frogman. Yep, Gluto exists. 10 Rangers, no problem. Make that 12. Yeah, they just showed out of nowhere. Yeah, that was the worst part about the crossover. Ryan and Eric show up out of nowhere. We don't even get a reintroduction of Ryan. It's like, you show all the other Rangers are. No, Ryan just comes in because we needed all 12 Rangers. And I'm 100% positive that Ryan only showed up, like, kind of after they filmed all the real stuff for the story. He was kind of in a post-production kind of thing. Yeah, Gluto exists. He didn't do much. Gluto is basically a fat comic relief character who is there bouncing off of Ranzik, and there in all the Sentai footage they used. So, Gluto's kind of in the background. He's trying to hit on Nadira, but doesn't get any because he's a big, fat, ugly loser. He shows up in the Sentai footage and fights because this guy was actually the main villain in the Japanese version of the show, and they needed him because they needed an explanation for that Sentai footage. He doesn't really do much until the finale where he actually finds Frax. He's put in charge of the search parties combing the city for Frax, and Gluto finally succeeds at something, finding Frax in the abandoned factory warehouse. And then he pretty much runs away from the final fight because Ranzik loses his crap, becomes more intense, and Gluto basically freezes himself and locks himself away in prison again. This is too much for me. I'm out of here. Yeah, that's it. That's the end of Gluto. Yeah, he's actually the main villain of Sentai Time Ranger. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I know he's the main villain. His real name is like Don Del Nero or something in the Japanese version. He's only here to be in the Sentai footage they used because he's in a lot of scenes and in a lot of the Sentai fights, and that's kind of it. He doesn't really do much on the show. I remember he had a crush on Nadira. Hey, Jira, I'm your secret admirer. Yeah, he really just got beat up a lot, abused, and was the butt of many jokes. He's a dumb comic relief villain. He's at least funnier than Loki, but just like Loki, he didn't do much. He just exists for a funny kid appeal character. I'd say Nadira was a much funnier villain than he is, but we'll put him on beta test. I guess they thought he was too goofy looking to be the main villain on Time Force. Yeah, probably. He looks like a weird blue Jabba the Hutt. One of Frax's generic robots. I believe this is the robot from the penultimate clip show episode. Yeah, I'll put him on Cyclo, not... Yeah, if you don't know, Frax built another robot minion, and he fights during a filler clip show episode. He's basically the last robot he has against the Rangers until his real one, the Doomatron. And this guy does is show up and dies when the Rangers use their powers combined. Yeah, Cyclonaut. Okay, Sorry, trying to recognize a few of these guys. A lot of them are super one-shot villains and probably wouldn't even make it on high if I did recognize them. Let's put no, is that Tentacruel? Okay, that is him. Okay, Tentacruel. We'll put on beta test. This is the guy who has the weird flying hover chair and pilots a giant buff mecha with tentacles. He's called Tentacruel. He once took the mayor hostage in the year 3000. Then in the 2001 show, he abducts a busload of children who Wes has to save. Nadira and Tentacruel team up to basically kidnap children and get like $1 billion. Dun, dun. Nadira basically wants bribe money for her shopping spree. However, the Red Ranger fights him, and they defeat Tentacruel together. He had a really cool design. I do remember him in that flying hover chair and attaching himself to a body, kind of like MODOK. He was fine. In that case, Nadira's better off with Lucas than Gluto. Yeah. Hey, Jon Snow, you made it. You missed us talk about the good Rangers, Jen, Wes, Eric, Katie. Alright, so who should we do next? I know everybody wants Frax, but was gonna do him after a bathroom break. Alright, let's do Lucas. Lucas, the cool guy. Lucas actually going into Master of Destiny. This is one of my favorite Blue Rangers of all time. I am kind of shocked at how much spotlight the Blue Ranger had in this show. He got a lot more episodes than Katie and Trip combined. Lucas, he's the cool guy. He's the aloof, mysterious, too cool for school, always pimping out his ride. He's the tough guy of the Rangers. He's kind of like Jen at first. He is an ultra-serious time cop, but slowly but surely loosens up and treats the Rangers like his family. He grows a bond with them, likes hanging out with them, likes showing off his ride, likes being friends with them. Lucas has a thing for cars. Lucas has a lot of the funnier episodes in the series because basically it kicks him off his high horse and Lucas is the butt of a few jokes. He's a bodyguard for a little girl. Nadira thinks he has a crush on her and is forced to date her. He gets into like a racing match with Dash. Really cool character. Hey, Jon Snow. I actually did go as the Blue Ranger from Time Force for Halloween once, so clearly I did have a lot of attachment to him as a kid, or a kitten. And yeah, I do think Lucas is really cool. Lucas is awesome. It's implied he puts up a tough guy front, according to Trip. Lucas has a lot of funny moments. Basically, he is kind of a judgmental jerk towards Wes, just like Jen, but he actually loosens up. Wes shows him how to drive, helps him integrate with society. He and Wes pick up chicks together. I remember that episode where he and Wes were both and Trip were fighting over the same woman, who was actually a mutant monster. Yeah, Contempora should be on here too. Trying to find her. I forgot what I think this is her. Okay. Anyways, Lucas had a lot of the best episodes. The one people remember easily when he's forced to date Nadira. Lucas wrote a poem about someone he loves. It's actually for his car. He wrote it for his car, but during a ranger fight, he accidentally loses his poetry notebook, and Nadira finds it and assumes it's about her and believes Lucas has feelings for her. So Lucas is unfortunately roped into dating Nadira. Randzik confronts him and forces him to be nice to his princess and treat her like royalty, and he better be nice, and he's always watching him, and forces Lucas to essentially go on dates with his daughter. And Lucas and Nadira are unfortunately forced to go on awkward dates because Lucas does not have feelings for her at this point. He's reluctantly taking her out to fancy restaurants and being forced by Randzik to give her flowers and chocolates and gifts. It is a pretty hilarious episode, not gonna lie. So yeah, sorry, just checking the comments. Alright. Basically, forced on this date, it is pretty funny, and Lucas, unfortunately, does not like her. He tries to get her to break up with him, and he pretends he's a crazy hobo at one point. She breaks up with him when she finds out he's broke, and he thinks he's won, but then Randzik gets pissed off and sends the chameleon monster to go kill him and assassinate him for breaking his girl's heart. And yeah, it is hilarious seeing him deal with all these fallouts. So Lucas eventually grows a heart. He slowly learns to love Wes. They become best friends, and he stands by Jen's decision to go back and save him, basically. So, Lucas, I do think, is a master of destiny, one of the best Blue Rangers ever, and a huge upgrade over Chad from Lightspeed Rescue, because Lucas had more persona. Alright, well, speaking of which, let's do... I believe this is Contempora, the Temptress Seductress mutant. Yeah, her, I'm actually might put on Lucas Cool. This is, I believe, the Seductress mutant. She has a magic bracelet, which she can use to charm men, and has another funny episode where basically she dupes the red, green, and blue ranger into falling for her. She transforms into a sexy human girl and seduces all the boy rangers, and it leads to a hilarious episode where they all crush on the same girl and neglect their ranger duties because they're so charmed by her. Nadira was a hottie. You love Nadira, don't you, Jon Snow? Personally, I prefer Vipra. Yes, even with Jennifer Yen's infamous acting. Yeah, Vipra was way hotter. Might have her on my top hottest Power Ranger crushes, but we'll see. Angelique. Yeah, that was her name. Her human name was Angelique. I believe her real monster name was Contempora. Basically, Randzik needs another mutant to break up the Power Rangers, so she seduces all the boy rangers into falling for her, and all the guys get into hilarious bitch fits fighting over her, trying to impress her. They completely fall victim to her charms. I love how Jen gets jealous. Jen is totally jealous of this mutant monster trying to steal her man. The fact that she needed to use her bracelet to make Wes fall for her means that he truly loves Jen. Yeah. Yeah, another funny episode. So basically, she successfully seduces Lucas and Trip, but Wes actually rebuffs her advances until she forces him to date her, forces him to love her with her magic charm bracelet. She is not good with rejection. Wes and all the guys are basically fighting over her, and it is hilarious seeing Jen is totally jelly. Wes is under a love spell? That's great! Huh? I mean, that's terrible. Yeah, Jen was not good at hiding her secret crush on Wes, we'll put it that way. It is hilarious because Jen took a lot of her frustration out on this monster personally. It is hilarious that the Pink Ranger completely lets loose and beats this seductress monster's ass really painfully, and is the one who gets the line, "Your time is up," when they kill her in the Megazord fight. To be honest, I never liked her, and if I was there, I would punch her with a steel glove. I mean, Angelique, yeah. She definitely deserved it. Jen was hilariously jealous. Really liked Jen getting jelly of Wes and showing her tsundere side. Yeah, Contempora, we'll put her on Lucas Cool because she was one of the funny, more memorable monsters. We'll put her up here high. Okay, so I'm gonna go on my first restroom break, but you guys cast your vote on who you want to see next. Got two lines of monsters next, so please feel free to tell me who you want to see next. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Time for Time Force. You want Dash? You want Circuit? Okay. Yeah, got a lot of people. All right, we'll talk about Circuit the Owl. So the Rangers usually have a cute sidekick who helps them out. The old Rangers, they had Alpha. The Time Force Rangers, we have Circuit, the wise robot helper, who's basically their living, walking database and the exposition character of the show. Circuit, I might put onto Lucas Cool. Who didn't like Circuit? Very distinct design, very adorable character. Circuit is basically their walking library. He's best friends with Trip the most because they're both the brainiacs of the team. Circuit was a lot more likable than Alpha, we'll put it that way. Circuit had a really cool owl design. I remember this character the most because look at that face. How could you forget that? Basically, Circuit is a very fun character. He has fun, witty banter with the Power Rangers, and he's usually the one who summons the Megazords down, acting as kind of the voice command, the mission control for the team. He had actual 2 episodes, one where the villains try to break him to sabotage him so he's no longer useful to the Rangers, and the episode Circuit Unsure, where Circuit second guesses himself and feels like he's useless to the Rangers because he had a malfunction, but it turned out it was just dickhead Alex trying to prevent him from revealing too much about the future, and Alex has a nice moment where he assures Circuit that he is right, he is still useful to the Rangers after all, where of course Circuit comes around and helps the Rangers kick ass again. Yeah, I do like Circuit. Very adorable character. We'll put him on Lucas Cool. He was a lot more useful than Alpha. Especially Turbo Alpha. So we'll put him on Lucas Cool. Alright, I'm sorry. I'm trying to find Dash. It's very hard to recognize some of these characters. I guess we might dump some of them already onto Cyclone Nut. Yeah, I'll put this guy with the weird trident up here. Trying to narrow down the playing field. I think this is Dash right here. Somebody let me know. Right. I know this blue guy. I know this blue guy is not Dash. It doesn't look like him. We'll put him on Circuit or Cyclonaut. Yeah, sorry folks. Just bumping off some of these one-shot characters. Oh, another robot. I'll put him on Cyclonaut. Alright, let's do Doomatron. We'll put him on beta test. We'll put him above Gluto. This is Frax's ultimate humongous mecha. This is the robot that nearly succeeds destroying the Rangers in Silver City. It's a robot that needs to be plugged into Frax's life force and powered by those super duper powerful crystals. The Doomatron nearly kills the Megazord and destroys the Rangers for good. Frax drives this thing, conquers the city with it, and unfortunately, the Doomatron gets the last Megazord battle ever in this series, and it gets completely destroyed, leading to Frax's death too. One of my favorite moments with Circuit was when Wes hits the DNA band by accident with the first monster and explained how that makes them grow, and Wes is like, now he tells us. Yeah, a bit late on the party. At least Circuit was a lot more useful than Princess Shayla. Alright, generic evil warlord guy, put him down here. Another generic evil warlord. Is this the Black Knight? It almost looked like him. I wonder if the Black Knight made this tier list. I don't see him on here. Yeah, I just want to bump off some of these useless one-shot characters. Alright, we'll put this guy onto Cyclonaut. Sorry, this did not leave a big impression. This does not look like him. I think this was the guy who accidentally nearly blew up the factory in Circuit Unsure. Yeah, he accidentally, like, hits the computer with the timer for a bomb countdown and accidentally speeds it up to 30 seconds. Yeah, he's going down here. What an idiot. Sorry. Trying to recognize where Dash is. It is very hard to recognize. I'm sorry, a lot of these pictures are so small. What was this, the Mirror Master guy? No, this is the Mirror Master. It looks like him. He's got that weird brain thing. That weird mutant renegade virus brain thing. Yeah, okay, we'll put the Mirror Master at least on beta test. He was definitely a very threatening villain. I forgot some of these were just in the mirror world, too. That's why I don't recognize them. They were like flunkies that were in different mirror dimensions in that one episode, so they can use a bunch of Sentai villains who get punk killed. Yeah, this one also looked like a mirror dimension. I'll put him down on Cyclonaut. Is that the weird samurai guy? Yeah, put him on Cyclonaut. Sorry, I just don't recognize the whole thing. I think that is the Knight, which was very bizarre, but does have a good Badass Battleizer episode that Wes gets. Yeah, I remember that. This might be the Black Knight. Yeah, I remember there was an episode where they fought the Black Knight. You know, we actually might put him up on Lucas Cool then, if that's the case. Yeah, the Black Knight. Everybody remember that episode? A medieval knight came into the present day, basically to kill a bunch of warriors and wants to unlock a superpower. Wes manages to pass a trial and slays a dragon, where a knight grants him access to the ultimate power armor, where the armor attaches to the Time Ranger armor, becoming this cool mecha medieval knight kind of Power Ranger. It is really cool, honestly. Very fun episode, and one of the rare that did not have Ransik or the mutants involved at all. You'll put the Black Knight on Lucas Cool because it's a ghost knight fighting the Power Rangers. That automatically makes him cool. Okay, so I think this is Dash. I think it is him. Let me know if it is, Ira. I'm back. Hey, Kira, glad you made it. Alright, I think this is Dash. If it's not, I apologize, but I'll go with it. So, Dash is the race car driver who is Lucas's former frenemy turned rival, and him I will put onto Lucas Cool. So, in one of the rare episodes which explores Lucas's backstory, Lucas used to be a race car driver before he became a cop. Dash was a mutant he did underground Fast and the Furious races with in their present, or in their timeline, the year 3000. Dash was an evil race car driver mutant who basically fought Lucas, and Lucas allegedly ruined his racing career. He was eventually locked up on his speeding charges and being a part of the Fast and the Furious illegal racing circuit. He and Lucas were quote-unquote frenemies. They used to like each other until Lucas betrayed him. He gets released to be Nadira's chauffeur, helps her go on a crime spree, sort of becomes her boyfriend, but he clearly does not feel the same about her. He's basically a bad boy, kick-ass mutant driver. Okay, that is Dash, thank you. Or maybe 3 times. Dash is next to the director monster, though it looks like his pick is used twice. Well, they recycle a lot of these. They recycle a lot of these monsters. Yeah, this is the director. Alright, the director I'll put on beta test too. Yeah, he's the fun Hollywood director. Anyways, Dash actually had a very surprisingly deep, compelling story for a mutant. He was an illegal racer. He blamed Lucas for stopping him and foiling his final race, costing him a victory, where he vowed to get even with Lucas. They have a Fast and the Furious style episode. Very cool. But then, during one of their crime races, he challenges Lucas to a driving fight. While Lucas is in driving school, driving like a driver's ed car, they have a hilarious race. Then Lucas stops him. He gets pissed off and realizes he stopped him because he almost ran over kids. And it made Dash realize that he was in the wrong. He was the villain. Lucas was trying to stop him from becoming a murderer. Lucas testified against him and got him frozen. Okay, that's why he blamed him. The Blue Streak, Moon Girl, and Dinosaur Power. Oh wow, they used Dash in his regular and his mind-controlled armor form. So yeah, they did use the Dash pick multiple times. Weird. Yeah, that is pretty weird. So Dash actually tried to turn good, but the villains had other plans. The villains mind control Dash and force him to mutate into a monster. He turns giant and fights the Megazord. But when they finally kill him, he thanks Lucas for setting him straight, and he vows to become a better man, basically in prison, paying for his crimes, and Lucas restores his friendship with him. It is a foreshadowing hint that atonement and redemption is going to be a major element in Time Force, and we see in the future that Dash becomes a racing champ again, showing that he did keep his promise and he did reform. So, good Dash is definitely Lucas cool. Definitely in the same league as Lucas in terms of awesomeness, and one of the more distinct monsters of the week. Yeah, trying to remember. Okay, anyways, the director guy, he was a fun villain. Basically posed as George A. Romero / Steven Spielberg. He dupes the Rangers into auditioning for his movie as stunt doubles, but haha, the movie's actually the end of the Power Rangers. And we get a fun, wacky episode where he traps them all in different movie genres. Lucas becomes a samurai. Eric becomes Tarzan. Wes and Trip go to the Cowboy Times. Yeah, they go to the Cowboy Times. Jen becomes Enter the Dragon, and Katie's in a musical. And it is very hilarious that a lot of these genres would actually become future Power Ranger seasons. The mutants don't get killed. No, they get blown up down to size, which kind of weird. I'm not sure how that worked even as a kitten. They get blown up by the Megazord, then get turned back into their action figure form. It's very weird. I suppose the weird time clock weapon turned them back, but yeah. To think the director would have won if the Rangers didn't accidentally rip the last page. Yeah, he came close to victory, but Trip accidentally ripped out a page to get not Jackie Chan's autograph for Jen. Yeah, he almost won because he wrote a script that controls reality. The Rangers almost lost, but he lost the last script page thanks to Trip's foolishness, and they beat him. Do like the episode because it is one of the funnier ones. It is very hilarious seeing Jen become a fangirl for Frankie Chang. Trip is next. You want Trip? Okay. Basically a better akumatized version from Power Rangers Time Force. Yeah, kind of. Okay, so yeah, the director will put on beta test. He was definitely a fun villain, but the scenarios definitely outshined the character who put them in those scenarios. So we'll put him on beta test. Alright, let's do our last Ranger, Trip. Trip going into Lucas cool. Yeah, I know, a lot of people will defend that he's one of the greatest Green Rangers of all time. I do think he is pretty cool, but not one of my all-time favorites. Trip, exactly like Katie, got kind of neglected. He has a few good episodes, but not as many as you'd think. Basically, Trip is an alien. He is an alien from the future. He has empathy powers slash somewhat psychic abilities. He's kind of like Deanna Troi from Star Trek. He can read people's body language and emotions. And basically, he's kind of the geek of the team. He's the science guy. He's the tech nerd. He builds the weapons. He mostly socializes with Circuit. Trip actually is close friends with Wes. Trip and Katie actually like Wes from episode 1 onward. Trip does help Wes basically regain interest in becoming a Power Ranger. He helps Wes realize that there is more to a Power Ranger than meets the eye. Trip is kind of the heart of the team. He's the enjoyable kid. He's the nice guy. He's the token doofus. He has a lot of sweet moments with the Rangers. One is where he questions his identity, thinks that nobody likes him, kids don't like playing as the Green Ranger, until he shows them that he's badass and nice be yourself message, and all the Rangers dye their hair green, except for Katie. She wore a wig. Wrong. What do you mean, Emily? What do you mean, Emily? Wrong. Boo this man, Kitty. Trip had his moments. He did. Kevin Kleinberg played Trip. Yeah, that is him. Trip sounds like a character out of a live-action X-Men movies from the early 2000s. Yeah, Trip is basically an alien. He's treated differently. He always wears his sweet hat to cover his psychic gem, I believe, in his forehead. Trip has his moments, and that's kind of the problem. He, like Katie, is kind of neglected screen time. One of his best episodes is, of course, Trip Takes a Stand, where Trip befriends Notakon, the mutant who doesn't want to be an evil villain. And Trip basically learns a lesson about standing up against discrimination and prejudice, and stands up towards that dick Eric, who's a racist cop trying to gun the innocent monster down, and gives this very deep philosophical speech, for Power Rangers at least, about how you shouldn't hate and fear people because they're different, they're just like you, and basically stands up for his rights, and it is a very good scene. It is why he is very cool. It is why he stands out amongst the Green Rangers, because he has one of the best episodes of Power Rangers, period. Trip was awesome. Stop being a meanie. Well, Emily, Trip also failed to impress women. We saw him try to make a move on a girl by acting like Lucas and got her knocked into a fountain. He is not good with the ladies. Kleinberg is of German and Filipino descent. Okay, that was weird. He looked kind of Asian, which is why I was kind of confused. Yeah, he looks like he's Asian, but he's got a Jewish last name. So he's German and Filipino. I guess that helped made him look more alien because his skin was practically orange. Kleinberg's hobbies include karate, kickboxing, and playing guitar, like the perfect role for a live-action Jagged Stone. Power Rangers over Captain Planet. Yeah, every time. Captain Planet is not as useful as the Rangers. So like Sanji and Brock of Power Rangers. So Trip is kind of a nerdy doofus, but they love him because Trip is endearingly dorky. He's a nice guy. People care for him. He has a noble heart. Trip is truly the little brother of the team. He's friends with them. He brings out the positive side, always looking on the bright side of life, and he is kind of the heart. He's the heart of the team, brings out their softer side. Unfortunately, he's also kind of clumsy. He is the comic relief ranger. He screws up a lot, trips over himself. That's why he's called Trip. He breaks things. He can't even bring them pizza the right way. So yeah, Trip has some of his flaws, but I will put him on Lucas Cool. Unfortunately, lack of screen time is the one thing that holds him back. But, Emily, I will mention that Trip is the one who also triggers Nadira's redemption arc. During the finale arc, when Ranzik's Cyclobots are storming the city, Trip stops Nadira from holding up like a shopping mall. However, one of the civilians is pregnant. She's a pregnant woman. She's about to have her baby, and Trip puts a timeout on their fight to help them deliver the baby. Mostly forces Nadira to do it, but Trip did help Nadira's redemption arc, basically. He shows her that human lives matter, they deliver a baby together, and Nadira is actually won over by how cute the baby is, and gives up fighting the Rangers from this point on. She doesn't fight Trip or resume their fight after the baby's born. She rethinks her life, basically, so Trip did get major credit for that. He helped her start becoming a better person, so we'll put him on Lucas Cool for sure. Trip always picks up the pizzas. Yeah, and he drops them multiple times. Power Rangers in Wayne's World would be an awesome movie. Yeah, unfortunately, Mike Myers would complain that the Rangers steal his spotlight. Is Dr. Michael Zaskin there? I don't think he is. I know Dr. Ferrix is. You want Nadira next? Okay, I want to bump off some of these lesser monsters. Alright, so I don't recognize a whole ton of these, so let's start dumping these one-shot characters. This guy will put on beta test, because I do like his really nice design there. Oh, wait, he's not supposed to go on Lucas Cool. Yeah, I'll put him on beta test. This guy almost looks like the sorcerer from Lightspeed Rescue. Yeah, I'll put him on Cyclonaut. Oh, Steelix. I think this is Steelix. Jen's former partner, the corrupt cop mutant. We'll put him on Lucas Cool. We'll put him under the night, at least. This, I believe, is Steelix, Jen's corrupt partner. There's an episode where we find out Jen had a first partner before Alex and before the Time Rangers. Steelix was a mutant who served the Time Force until we find out he was taking deals, doing shady things, and selling information and illegal intel to Ransik on the side. He betrayed Time Force for money. Yeah, really, that is his thing. Power Rangers Time Force Tournament Fighter would be awesome. I think they have mods of Power Rangers and Tournament Fighters. I know the Pink Ranger is in Soul Calibur. Yep, that's Steelix. Great. Another personal favorite monster, mainly for having a good revenge plot in that episode. Yeah, Steelix surprisingly got a lot of character just like Dash. He is someone who has past connections to Jen. We find out Jen and he were partners until she ratted him out. She exposed him for his crimes, got him sent to prison, and he vowed revenge against the Pink Ranger, where Ransik unleashes him to finally get payback. And Steelix basically kind of gaslights and scares Jen, stalks her, watches her, tries to take her out when she's alone. Very effective, creepy villain. Steelix, we find out, had a past with Jen. They used to be friends. He actually saw great things in Jen and thought they could have done great things together until she betrayed him, and he wants revenge against her, where he brainwashes Jen evil with this weird spray. He sprays perfume on her and it makes Jen evil until Wes uses the power of love to save her. It's time for you to go, did you say? Grow? J.W. Myers is his actor. Jen and Eric are in the Power Rangers Battle for the Grid fighting game, but they were the only Time Force Rangers to make it. Unfortunately, wish Nadira could have been in that game too. Yeah, weird Nadira and Ransik aren't in a fighting game. Ransik could kill all the Rangers. Also wish that Trent the White Ranger from Dino Thunder was in that game. Serious missed opportunity. They missed a lot of great Power Ranger characters in that game. So anyways, yeah, Steelix, he fights Jen. Jen breaks from his spell thanks to Wes's love for her, and they blow him up together where she finally gets closure. Steelix will put on Cool because it finally makes Jen question the system and makes them realize that Jen has some personal baggage with the mutants too. And Steelix was definitely an effective character. We'll put him on Lucas Cool. Oh boy, another robot. Put him on Cyclonaut. Yeah, sorry, I have some trouble recognizing a few of these one-shot characters. Oh, is this Dash again? I think it's his giant form and his alternate form. Okay, we'll put them both on Lucas Cool just to be safe. Weird blade guy. I'll put you on beta test, like the blade hands there. Weird jellyfish monster. Don't recognize who this is. I guess we'll have to put you on Cyclonaut. Alright, looks like we finally got a plant monster. We'll put you on beta test. And don't recognize who this Wolfman is. I'll put him on beta test just to be safe, because the design at least looks cool. I like the parts in the Power Rangers shows where the team turns into giant robots and fights the evil leader. Yeah, that's Dash when he gets mind-controlled armor. Okay, this is Dash too. Okay, Dash will put up here. I will put him above Steelix at least. Alright, Dash, as I talked about Dash, really think he's a cool character, so yeah. Talked all about him, but yeah, if this is Dash, we'll put him on Lucas Cool for sure. Alright, finally, the top 3. Sorry, my friend Jon Snow really wants Nadira. Okay, we'll do Nadira, Ranzik's daughter, going on to Master of Destiny. Nadira, she is one of the funniest characters on the show. Nadira initially starts out as a comic relief villain. She and Gluto are kind of the goofballs of the villain team. Nadira is Ranzik's daughter. Basically, she's a spoiled, privileged woman child who likes playing games, lounging around, and basically it treats being evil like a game. This is all just fun and games. Fighting the Rangers is kind of her play day. Nadira is a total sheltered woman child who Ranzik has spoiled rotten. She treats being evil like it's all just fun and games, and does not take the war with the Rangers and humanity seriously until essentially she goes through the same character arc as Wes. Nadira is sheltered, elite, rich, and she kind of gets exposed to the real world and grows up. Nadira is a fun villain. Actress definitely had fun playing as her. Yeah, she really did. I was about to spam the chat with boos if you didn't put her where she belonged at the top. Yeah, okay. We'll save Frax for last because we want to end on a high note. Okay, so yeah. Anyways, Nadira, she is pretty funny, not gonna lie. She makes me laugh every time. I was afraid I wouldn't like her at first because I did not like her as much as a kitten. Liked her a lot more growing up, rewatching the show, because she's at least funny. She basically uses the Cyclobots as her servants and butlers. She's more into robbing like malls. She's all about money. She wants to shop, wants to wear clothes, wants fashion and jewelry. Not really interested in the whole killing people market like her father and the Monsters of the Week are. Oh, that's who this guy was. I think this is the chameleon guy. Okay, we'll put him on beta test still. Okay. Anyways, Nadira undergoes quite a lot of great character development, especially in the last few episodes. We do see hints that Nadira's not all bad because when she believes Lucas has a crush on her, she instantly turns off her hatred for the Power Rangers because she thinks Lucas is into her, and she does find him cute. Hilariously, Nadira and Lucas do end up dating in the Wild Force crossover. Yay, Nadira. Yeah, Jon Snow, saving a lot of the best characters for last. So yeah, basically, Nadira actually did have a crush on Lucas. They dated until they unfortunately broke up because Lucas was annoyed by her. She's kind of the hot, sexy villain. She's supposed to be a femme fatale, but I get more of a psychotic woman child. She basically likes having fun in games. I know Jon Snow likes her more than Vipera. Nadira pretty funny up until the finale. Nadira undergoes a redemption arc. She starts to realize that the war with humanity and the Rangers is more serious and not a game like she initially thought. Starts to fear her dad a bit more. They capture Frax. She helps save a pregnant woman. She and Trip help a pregnant woman deliver her baby, and Nadira realizes that she actually likes humans. She finds the baby so innocent and cute, realizes humans can create good things and are people like them. Nadira undergoes a sort of redemption arc. She realizes that she doesn't like killing humans. We see her actually play with children. She actually befriends humans, learns to care about them, then tries to convince her dad, Ranzik, to lighten up and not be evil anymore. She realizes she doesn't like being bad. She confronts Frax when Frax is recaptured in prison. questions what it means to be human and apologizes for what her dad did to him. She apologizes for Randzik killing Dr. Ferrix and causing him to become a cyborg in the first place. Frax realizes that there's good in Nadira and she can break the cycle of hatred because she actually expresses love and compassion for people, showing that some can change, which Dr. Ferrix gave up on long ago. Nadira eventually tries to convince her dad to let go of his hatred for the Rangers. Basically, she pities Frax and actually feels sorry for him, actually treats him like a friend. Frax is lobotomized. They remove his personality. He's turned into a mindless drone because it's Randzik's revenge against him, and Nadira is deeply saddened by this, that Frax is not the same person he once was, wishes they could have been friends. She's the only one who gives a crap that Frax dies. In the finale, Frax gets blown up with the robot and his face breaks apart in a really horrifying death scene. Frax dies. She actually cries for him, sheds tears for his death, which disgusts and confuses Randzik over why she even cared about him. She tries to convince her dad one last time to turn good, but Randzik is having none of that. He wants the Rangers dead. He is completely insane by this point, obsessively trying to kill the Rangers. Nadira wants to pull back. They destroyed their home, destroyed the city, conquered all of humanity, but Randzik is still not satisfied. The prison scene with Nadira and Frax was such a great acted scene, it's Oscar worthy. Yeah, that scene where she and Frax confront each other for the last time in prison. Very effective, very emotional, and also depressing. It made Frax actually a sad, tragic villain. So, in the final fight, Randzik is destroying the Rangers. Nadira sees a baby that was left behind in the chaos. It lost its parents. Nadira tries to save the baby and take it to safety. However, the final fight between Randzik stumbles upon where they're hiding, and Nadira, trying to rescue the baby while Randzik is trying to search and kill the Pink Ranger, accidentally shoots and wings his daughter. She's like shoulder wounded and shot down. She's in very serious crippling pain for the first time in the show. And Randzik finally finds Nadira and realizes that he hurt the only person he ever loved. He realizes at this point, as I said, that he is a monster and sees that Nadira was trying to save a baby. Nadira wanted to save this child because she didn't want it to die, and gives this very soulful, lighthearted, cute speech about how humans can create beautiful things too. Human lives do matter. Humans are people like them. She's cradling this baby, was trying to protect it from her dad's wrath, and Randzik finally realizes that he's a monster. He picks up the baby, and it reminds him of when he first had Nadira and how he took care of her as one of his own, and Randzik realizes Nadira was right, and his love for her basically redeems him. Nadira, I believe, is taken to the hospital, but also locked up with Randzik. They turn themselves in, and it's all thanks to his love for his daughter. Their bond is pretty much the greatest element to them, which shows that they did have good in them deep down. So yeah, I do agree, Jon Snow. Nadira, definitely a master of destiny. She is one of the iconic villainesses, and unfortunately, one of the last sexy femme fatale villains we had. I really wish we had more female villains like Nadira and Vipra. They were hot and kick-ass. Really wish we got to see Nadira and Vipra be bad bitches together in that crossover. But yeah, I'll put her on Master of Destiny because her love for her dad ultimately saved him and made them iconic Power Rangers antagonists. Randzik has a better redemption than Hawkmoth. Like he never cared for his son. Yeah, he didn't. Like Nadira came in Wild Force. Yeah, we do find out Nadira has also turned good in the Wild Force crossover. We catch up and tie up all the loose threads of Time Force and the Wild Force crossover, and it's very clear that the writers really loved Time Force way more than Wild Force because all the Time Force characters are the best part. Nadira became good, and she's actually dating Lucas. They actually did become a couple in the end, so really nice to see. It reminded me of Zane and Astronema becoming a couple, so that was really cute. Nadira actually got some community service thanks to something Katie set up with the government. Okay, so she is paying for her crimes. Yeah, Randzik and Nadira are basically repaying their debt to society, making atonement, making up for all their misdeeds as villains, and we just see they're helping mutants and helping the future. Basically got a proper punishment because they did turn themselves in. Yeah, Nadira was in Wild Force, I do remember that. Alright, so yeah, Nadira, Master of Destiny. But Jon Snow, I will die on the hill, that Vipra is hotter. Alright, so let's knock off Mr. Collins, who will go on to Lucas Cool. So, Mr. Collins, if you don't remember, is Wes's dad. This is his rich, douchey, uptight father, the most unorthodox guy. So, Mr. Collins is initially a total prick for at least half the series until he changes his tune and starts to respect his son and his life decisions more. Fair enough. Glad you agree, Jon Snow. R.I.P. Mr. Collins' actor. Yeah, tragically, he did die. He, died a few years after Time Force, which makes his death scenes even hit harder. So yeah, Mr. Collins, basically, he starts out kind of more like a Norman Osborn type of character. He is a corrupt CEO, he loves making money, is all about the profit, does not care about the little guy and the poor people, unlike his son. Mr. Collins is a total douche for at least the first half of the series. I'm not gonna lie, he was kind of an ass. Special mention going to the scene where Wes needs to borrow ransom money from him to save the lives of a bunch of kids, and Mr. Collins did not give a crap. He told them the police can handle it and didn't do anything to help, which, yeah, very glad he got his comeuppance at the end where they donate the money to a children's program. A rich man who cares only about money at first, but gets better over time, especially after his encounter with Randzik. Mr. Collins is the Vince McMahon of Power Rangers. So, Jackie Schnee from RWBY. So, Mr. Collins slowly but surely starts to respect Wes. He does not approve of his life decisions, does not like him becoming a Power Ranger. However, Wes starts standing up for himself more, telling off his dad, telling him he's a douche, telling him that he wants to be a hero, he wants to help save people, which his dad used to do. The mother is not in the picture, so I can only assume that Mr. Collins does not have a wife anymore and that Wes lost his mom. The father and son are kind of the only two who have each other, and Mr. Collins slowly but surely starts to like Wes. Special mention going to when Wes comes to him with the cure for the Venomark virus. Mr. Collins agrees to do it, at least at first, to make money off of it. However, Randzik breaks into his company to steal this cure for himself after Frax destroyed it all. Randzik tells Mr. Collins that he's a terrible person because he doesn't care about his son and he's stealing the cure from him and yada yada yada, but Mr. Collins turns around and respects Wes for standing up against people like him. He gets shot by Randzik and hospitalized, and we find out that Wes and the dad do care for each other. Mr. Collins is in the hospital for a very serious story arc. He is destined to die, basically. He's going to suffer critical blood loss from his wounds. Wes visits him in the hospital and learns from one of the co-workers that Mr. Collins was talking about how proud he was of Wes, that he died talking about how his son, the Red Ranger, was a hero. That scene where he decided to keep a kid's baseball because he accidentally hit his limo with it was pretty douchey. Yeah, that was a pretty mean move. That's why Mr. Collins does not make it to S tier. He did have his dick moments. Basically, Wes and his dad finally make peace with each other. They bury the hatchet. Wes returns to the hospital. We find out Alex down here actually used technology to save Mr. Collins' life to allow Wes to make amends with his dad and finally fulfill his own destiny. And Mr. Collins realizes that Wes was good all along, realizes that his son was right, and that he apologizes for being a prick, that Wes did make good life decisions, and he's proud of the man he is, and they finally become friends, and Mr. Collins supports Wes for the rest of the remainder of the series. Then Mr. Collins doesn't become important again until the final arc, where Randzik is taking over the city. It is a total war zone, and we see Mr. Collins did finally learn and grow to care about people. He helped save a mother and her child in his limo. He helps save civilians, and he desperately searches the city to find his son to make sure Wes is alright. Wes and Eric manage to save him. They meet, and Eric takes a bullet for them, or a laser, I should say. Eric gets shot protecting them. The father and son give one last heartfelt speech to each other before Wes goes off to help destroy the entire robot army, where Mr. Collins escorts a wounded Eric out. And at the end of the series, the finale, we see they're sending the Rangers away on like a hero's farewell. Mr. Collins, Eric, and all the Silver Guardians are saluting the Time Force Rangers as heroes, and Wes and his dad finally talk about how much they love each other, and Mr. Collins wants to help Wes finance like his hero career, wants to finally recruit Wes to be the leader of the Silver Guardians like he initially planned to when he was a Ranger, but has grown to love Wes and needs him as the city's protector. Wes gets a full-time job as basically the military superhero the company needs, and Mr. Collins vows that he's not going to be making money off of it. They are going to be a public police service helping everyone, just like his son always wanted. And we end on a scene of all the guys making up, becoming bros, and talking about how the future's so bright. So Mr. Collins had a nice redemption arc. He is definitely Lucas cool. Only reason why he's not higher is he did have some really huge dick moments. Like, I prefer Mr. Collins and Gabriel Agreste. Yeah, that's because Mr. Collins wasn't secretly a psychopathic villain in disguise. He was just a greedy, uptight douche. Yeah, he got better, basically kind of an Ebenezer Scrooge arc about learning to care about people and becoming a nice guy who loves his son. Very nice, very charming, very heartwarming. We'll put him on we'll put him on Lucas Cool. Okay, he's definitely cool. Unfortunately, you do have to sit through half the series of him being a dick, so that is the one reason why he's held down a peg. Alright, so let's end this on the high note of all high notes with Frax. Alright, Frax, yeah, you guessed it, he's going on Master of Destiny, and I will put him under the two Rangers, but he is above Randzik for sure. Frax was my favorite villain on Time Force, mostly because he had a really cool design, a really nice robot voice, but also ended up being one of the most deeply layered, tragic villains of Power Rangers history. Frax is actually a robot servant who's helping Randzik and Nadira on their evil endeavor. Frax is a part of the inner villain circle. He is not a one-shot character. He is one of the main villains. He is the Team Starscream. He's the treacherous villain working for Randzik, plans to backstab him and take over the villain operation. Frax basically serves as Randzik's robot sidekick, but we find out he's evil and has his own ambitions, wants to betray Randzik Starscream style, take over and conquer the city for himself and robot kind. He is the inventor of the Cyclobots, the villain henchmen, and helps free the mutants. He gains access to the X Chamber, which has the most dangerous mutants like Venomark here. He's conspiring a betrayal against Randzik. However, we find out there's more to this other than his villainous greed. So, in one of the best episodes ever, Frax's Fury, Frax ultimately reveals himself as a traitor to Randzik because Frax was not always a robot. Frax was once a man. Humans are our enemy. Humans are your enemy. I should know. You destroyed me when I was human. Yeah, we find out Frax used to be a human scientist named Dr. Ferrix. He was a human from the year 3000. He helped Randzik after Randzik was beaten and infected by Venomark. He helped bring Randzik off the streets, gave him medical treatment, and helped Randzik, showing him that humans could be capable of good. However, Randzik, in a total dick move, ended up completely betraying Frax, stabbing this guy in the back, burned down his lab, stole the serum, stole his robot blueprints for the Cyclobots, and left the scientist for dead. But in a twist, we find out Dr. Ferrix survived. He was dying, he was brutalized, very wounded gravely. He rebuilt himself as a robot, gave him a new body to live again, where he became Frax, the robot you see here. Basically, he got a new identity and a new robot form, and covertly joined Randzik's mutant armada. Randzik was kind of a cult leader leading a mutant uprising. He joined him and worked his way up in the inner circle to get revenge on Randzik for ruining his life. Frax is all that is left of Dr. Ferrix. Definitely the most tragic villain in all of Power Rangers. Yeah, I felt so sorry for him. Learning his backstory, he actually tried being a good guy, but was completely rejected and betrayed. Dr. Ferrix wanted to help mutants, wanted to build a brighter tomorrow, but had his life ruined by Randzik. And basically, he's trying to get back at Randzik. However, exactly like Randzik, he also is clearly very far gone. Frax does still want to kill the Power Rangers. He basically wants to steal everything Randzik built, wants to get even with him, and use the Cyclobots to build a robot utopia instead of a mutant utopia. So, like Doctor Doom. Well, Frax became Holy Machine by the end. Like I see Zed and Rita have a son. Yeah, we don't talk about that. Anyways, so Frax basically got revenge. He destroyed all of Randzik's serum, completely like left him for dead, wrecked his base, stole everything he ever took from him back, and nearly succeeds at killing Randzik. Yeah, he almost wins. Yeah, he almost wins. He builds his giant robots, the Dragantron and the Doomatron down here, and Frax nearly destroys the Power Rangers. He decides he's taking over the city, launches attacks, and it is clear that Frax is still doing evil himself. He is completely far gone from the man he once was. He wants to destroy the Power Rangers on his own, and wants to build a robot future. Question though, how exactly does one turn themselves into a robot? We do see he does hook up like robot appendages to him. I think Frax is more like Darth Vader. He has like a human self in a bunch of cybernetics. Like, we do see he puts like robot arms to replace his missing limbs. He's kind of in like a life support suit like Darth Vader. He's more machine now than man, that kind of stuff. So, Ultron and Sigma, well, he was never a virus. Like, I hope Disney doesn't make live-action Pocahontas. They probably won't because, yeah, it is a controversial film. Anyways, Frax basically becomes the main villain for a while Randzik recovers. Unfortunately, Randzik does recover and comes back full swing, reveals he's alive. They ambush Frax as he's building the Doomatron, his ultimate weapon. They take Frax and shove him in prison. Randzik realizes that he still needs Frax, and Randzik steals the Doomatron and him for himself for his ultimate invasion plot. And unfortunately, Frax is like locked in a prison cell, and Randzik plans to reprogram him into a mindless drone who will obey him, just like how he initially thought he was. Frax is in prison, and we get this very epic scene, this very tragic moment where Nadira meets him in prison and asks him about his life, about what it means to be human. Frax at first spurns her, but then when she apologizes for what her dad did to him, Frax realizes that she's actually good deep down, that her hope and good can break the cycle of hatred. Frax has lost himself to hatred just like Randzik, and they're always killing each other because of their inner pain, inner demons, and deep searing hatred for one another. Frax hates Randzik for what he did to him, and Randzik in turn hates Frax for backstabbing him. Wait, Pocahontas is controversial? Yeah, it kind of is, Akira. Don't have time to talk about it here, but you could look it up. Back to the prison scene with Nadira. Frax does regain some humanity after Nadira adamantly said she was sorry for what her father did. there's hope for her. Though it was left of it till he got reprogrammed. Yeah, sadly, Frax gets reprogrammed. Though it was left of him, yeah. So, the Overlord from Ninjago. No, wait, Nadira, I was wrong. You can break the cycle of hatred. Never give up. Never give up. Yeah, Frax is taken, and sadly, he gets his mind wiped, reprogrammed, where he's a mindless drone. Frax basically is a servant to Ranzik again, this time more obedient. He pilots the Doomatron, nearly succeeds at destroying the entire city, killing all the Rangers, but the Time Force Rangers show up at the last second to have the ultimate Megazord battle, where unfortunately, the Doomatron is killed, and because it was hooked up to Frax's life support systems, it killed them both. Frax is dead and gone. He's fallen on the ground. We find what's left of him poorly moving, completely broken and twitching. And Ranzik, in a dick move, calls him a stupid machine, and in a really horrifying, depressing scene, Frax's face completely breaks apart. His, face parts are, breaking off. He completely falls down and mechanically breaks down, and Nadira is the only one who cries for his death. And yeah, that scene honestly really haunted me as a kid. One, it was pretty creepy, and two, it made me feel so sorry, because Frax essentially died, completely, fallen, completely abused, lost everything he ever loved. However, he did score a moral victory, because Frax's death helps move Nadira and makes her regain hope. She ended up listening to Dr. Ferrix one last time, so Frax did have an effect on the series, and was one of the coolest tragic villains the show ever had. It makes you wonder who's the mother of Nadira. Eddie Frierson voices Frax. Yeah, he was very good. Really liked his voice. Really liked this character, too. Frax was one of my favorite Power Ranger villains ever. He also played Strykening in Lightspeed Rescue and Iron Knight in Lost Galaxy. Have to watch those again and hear him. But yeah, Frax, definitely one of the best villains of Power Rangers history, and he is a total master of destiny. We'll put him up here on S tier, and yeah, I do like him more than Ranzik, thanks to how well written he is. Yeah, who didn't like Frax? The villains were all S tier, just like the Rangers were. But yeah, that pretty much completes our list. Got everyone up here. The last I did recognize is this Chameleon guy. He's a funny villain, basically. He's kind of pressured by Ranzik not to kill the Blue Ranger. Ranzik, rips his tongue and throws it back at him comedically. Very funny villain. We'll put him on beta test. So, Wild Force next. We'll see. I am in the middle of watching Wild Force. Check out my tier list if you haven't seen it. Easily the worst character are Viper's demons because they were complete wasted cannon fodder. And the best is Wes, of course. So yeah, check it out one last time. Wild Force, I am watching it right now. I'm on the Zen Aku arc, the evil Wolf Ranger guy. Trying to finish that. We'll see if I do a tier list on that. After that, I might watch Lost Galaxy because I'm not a fan of Ninja Storm. But yeah, this pretty much completes our Time Force tier list. Also, Hakaku and Naruto. Okay. It also hit me that the monsters were never killed but shrunk and frozen. Yeah, the Power Rangers actually didn't kill any of the villains, which made Frax's death hit a lot harder because he was one of the few who died in the show. Yeah, the villains get recaptured. They're shrunken back to action figures and put in cryostasis. The Rangers were completely by-the-book cops, which made them very inspirational to kids. Excuse me. Okay, yeah. This pretty much completes the tier list. So we'll go over it one last time for any late birds here. Your time is up. The failures, Viper's demons, they're easily the worst. They were complete wasted cannon fodder, didn't do jack and just die. And Alex, he sucks. This guy also sucks, the Mohawk guy. He's an example monster. So yeah, these ones, easily the worst. Mostly a lot of one-shot characters and Cyclone not. These are pretty much a bunch of forgettable characters, honestly. They're there to fight the Power Rangers, get blown up, while the real villains got character development. Beta test. These ones were a lot more one-shot monsters who were more memorable. I believe these ones were a lot more funnier. Yes, Gluto is down here because Gluto exists. These monsters, I remember them a bit better, but yeah, basically generic monsters of the week. They were just slightly more entertaining. Only one wrong opinion, lol, JK. Who'd I get wrong, Emily? And you better not say it's Trip. And done. It was fun to see you. Next stream, hope to see the next Power Ranger stream. Yeah, I'm debating whether to do Lost Galaxy or Wild Force. Might be Wild Force because I am watching that now, but when I finish Wild Force, I'm definitely going back to Lost Galaxy because I don't want to watch Ninja Storm. I know some people might want me to skip to Dino Thunder, though. Yeah, Dino Thunder pretty good, but I watch that one like on a weekly basis. Okay, Lucas cool. Mr. Collins, Steelix, Dash, these were very compelling mutants. The Black Knight actually made it on here. Angelique, aka Contempora, she was funny. Noticon, very sympathetic villain. I think this is also Dash, but recolored. The Dragantron, awesome robot. Venomark, one of the most iconic monsters of the week. This one actually was memorable and very creepy. The Cyclobots, awesome villain henchman. Circuit, very fun exposition character, cute, adorable gadget owl. Really liked him and his funny moments with the other Rangers. And unfortunately, Katie and Trip are both down here in Lucas Cool. They did make it higher than the rest, but it's only due to a lack of screen time. That is the only real negative I have to say about these two Rangers. They just didn't get as much focus. That is the only problem I have with them. Are you going to make a tier list of the Saw Traps or Final Destination deaths? Might do the Final Destination deaths, but I'm kind of waiting when we're closer to the release of Bloodlines. Gotta wait for that movie. And hope you do all the Power Ranger series tier list. Oh, guy. Nobody wants to see Turbo. Everyone gets an F on that except TJ. Okay, and Master of Destiny. We have Nadira, so don't worry, Jon Snow, you can sleep at night. Nadira is a hilarious villain, and one of the most entertaining characters on the show. Lucas is just cool. He is awesome. He is the bad boy with a heart of gold. I went as Lucas for Halloween, so he does have a special place in my kitten heart. Quantum Ranger. Yep, even in Power Rangers, Virgil is awesome. Don't worry, Emily, Quantum Ranger and his quantum power definitely high up. And if we were doing Megazords, the Quantumsaurus Rex would be up here with him. Then, Ransik and Frax, great villains, iconic villains, well acted, well written, well portrayed. Vernon Wells and Nick, whoever voiced Frax, did a very good job, knocked it out of the park. They are both perfect tragic villains, and both had easily the best moments in Time Force and Power Rangers history. And of course, we have the Pink Ranger. Jen is the greatest Pink Ranger ever. I'm still on the fence if she's number one, but that's only because I haven't seen every other show yet. But Jen is definitely up there. This girl made the Pink Ranger cool, so of course she's up here. And number one is Wes, because Wes got the best character development. Wes is the ultimate hero's journey character in this. Who doesn't like the Red Ranger? Wes definitely kept the tradition up and inspired a lot of people with his I make my own future kind of way. Red Ranger is number one, but Carter Grayson is definitely better. I definitely don't want to see Operation Overdrive. Yeah. I will warn you guys, I stopped at SPD. I have not seen any Power Ranger show past SPD. I tried getting into Samurai. It wasn't clicking with me. I did not like it. Never watched any of the Nickelodeon shows after that, even when they brought Bulk back as a scientist. And I only heard bad things about Megaforce, so definitely not talking about that. And don't expect a tier list on Turbo, because that is one of the shittiest Power Ranger shows ever. Like, I hate Cosmic Fury for 10 episodes, but it's fine. Have not heard a lot of good things about Cosmic Fury either. I have a friend who's been saying that. But yeah, anyways, this completes our Power Rangers tier list. Sorry, it was a lot bigger because we had a lot of one-shot monsters. But yeah, we'll see if we do another Ranger tier next time. But check out all the good characters. A lot more good than bad. Fuck Alex. He is bad. He would be worse if Viper's Demons didn't suck harder. But yeah, Definitely a lot of great characters. Power Rangers Time Force is one of the best Power Rangers shows ever. It is very mature, surprisingly, for a Ranger show, but it has a lot of fun, great writing, great characters, iconic scenes, some of the best storytelling of a children's programming ever, and made the Power Rangers ultra badass. Bye, Cat, and this is Dragon Ranger Akira. Sign off. Bye, Akira. So yeah, that pretty much completes our Time Force tier list. Let me know if you guys want to see other Ranger shows in the future. There are some I might do, but a lot I might not do. Looking at you, Turbo. But yeah, that pretty much completes our list. Thank you all for watching. I hope to see you guys again in the next one. And don't forget, I have a Goosebumps video out on Patreon, so check that out, Patreon pups. It is not being charged, but you do have to be a paid Patreon pup. But yeah, it's up there, and I hope you're all looking forward to it. But yeah, we'll see what we do a tier on next time. So, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, or just tune in for more videos posted here on Wolf Entertainment. I'm your host, Catastrophe, and your time is up.